Is it my?
Give us a minute.
Oh, I see. I was looking at the.
Video's on,
Okay.
the phone's on, laptop's muted.
Oh,
Microphone's on all the time?
Just remember to turn them on.
Yeah. Oh, I don't.
okay.
And then we're live on YouTube. All right.
Okay. Good morning. Welcome. In accordance with Section 45 and 53 of the Planning Act 1990 as amended, this meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of the City of Toronto is called to order. My name is Yim Chan. I will chair the meeting today, and the panel members to my left is Philip Goss, Sahi Bayat, and also Paul Gauguin. And the Committee of Adjustment considered application for variance from the provision of the zoning that apply to property and or permission to extend or alter lawful non-conforming uses and consent to survey property to create new lots. So I will announce the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe and Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. So now I will read the procedure of our meetings. Committee of Adjustment public hearings are now conducted in a hybrid person and a virtual format. Some applicants and participants will make their submission in person, and others will participate virtually by electronic means through WebEx, an online digital platform. The meetings are also streamed on the City of Toronto Planning YouTube channel, and anyone wish to view the hearing may watch on YouTube. Those who want to participate virtually and have registered in advance will be connected with the computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone, and have the opinion of participating via video or audio only. All virtual participants will automatically be muted on entry. When your item is called, you will be unmuted by the moderator, one person at a time. We ask that you will mute your devices until you are called out to speak. And those participating by video appearances will be temporarily upgraded to panelists when your item is being called. During this time, your camera will be enabled. You will only be visible during your 5-minute allotted speaking time. At all times, your video will be disabled and you will be reinstated as an attendee. For both in-person and virtual participants, Committee of Adjustment staff will share presentations submitted in accordance with the written submission deadline. Those participating through WebEx were not allowed to use share screen or any other panelist control during a video appearance. The host will remove you from the panelist role if you fail to respect this instruction. If you want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee, people attending in person today who want to receive a copy of the decision of the committee on an application must fill out a decision request card, and those participating virtually need to submit a written request for decision by email. Please ensure that you include your name, address, and email address because the Committee of Adjustment and the Toronto Local Appeal Board TLAB will be sending notification and appeal updates by email only. If you do not agree with the decision of the committee, you may be able to appeal the decision to the Toronto Local Appeal Board or, in some limited circumstances, to the Ontario Land Tribunal. However, the provincial government amended the Planning Act and generally removed rights of third party to appeal Committee of Adjustment decisions. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, specified persons and public bodies such as those terms are defined in the Planning Act are permitted to appeal. Appeal instructions are set out at the bottom of the decision of the committee. So now I will read out the hearing procedure. First, I will follow the agenda. We'll call out each item in the order listed in the agenda. And then when the application is not contested, the agent or appellant may proceed with the presentation if desired. When the committee does not require a presentation, applicants are to advise the chair should they wish to speak to the committee. The committee may ask questions or take the matter into committee for decision. And each speaker, including the applicant or agent, will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address the committee. I will comment when you are reaching the 5 minutes. Any presentation or other material wish to submit to committee must have been emailed in advance of the hearing. Staff and committee members cannot accept material at the hearing. When addressing the committee, please clearly state your name and address. Please remember to confine your remarks to the matters outlined in the application. The applicant or agent will proceed first, will make presentation to the committee on the application. Please note that the committee may not entertain revisions to proposal at the hearing today. The committee may decide to defer the application if substantially revised to ensure that the revised application is accurate and that all those entitled to notice of the application are informed of the changes. Then individuals, either in support or opposed to the application, will be invited to speak. Generally, we first call all the speakers in the hearing room, and then those participate through WebEx. Committee members may ask questions of each speaker after they have finished the presentation. When all the speakers are finished, the applicant or agent have opportunity to rebut only those issues that were raised by the speakers. This will mark the end of the discussion. The applicant then will be taken into committee for decision. And then that's all the procedure. Now we have some couple of administrative things to do. So is there a minute of meeting to be confirmed?
Good morning, Madam Chair and panel members. So there are no minutes for adoption for today.
Okay. And do we ask for the conflict of interest now? Or?
Sure, you can ask.
The morning sessions.
Yep.
Yeah, I would like to know from a panelist or from a staff, anyone want to declare conflict of interest? Yes, Mr. Goss, yeah.
Yes, I have a potential non-pecuniary interest on item 15, and so I'll recuse myself from that item.
Okay, yeah, you got item 15, yeah. And any other file for to be closed or defer requests?
Through you, Madam Chair. See no files today for this morning's session for withdraw and close. See no files requesting deferral. On that note, I would ask the committee members to move a motion that the Toronto East York panel of the Committee of Adjustment does not excuse any absences from the November 29th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment meeting, with the exception of member Nellie Volpert, who is ill today.
Okay, can we have a motion for that? Yeah, Mr. Bayet. Yeah, who second? Yeah, Mr. Goss. All in favor? Yes.
And we can proceed with item number 1. Thank you.
Okay, and item number 1, 66 Charles Street East. We have, what the committee have received is a copy of plan of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevation, and a cover letter from the agent Scott Walker, and a heritage and assessment received in November 3rd. And then we receive also heritage report from City of Toronto, and that's all. We are ready for the applicant, Ms.
Through you, Madam Chair. So we do have the agent here in person along with the consulting team. So we can have Mr. Walker speak, or is there someone else that will be speaking? You? Okay.
Okay, please come up then, yes. It's up to you. Oh, you can stay there, I guess.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having us today. My name is Scott Walker. I live at 216 Deloraine Avenue in the City of Toronto. I'm joined today by much of our design team. Just in case you have questions about the application, to my immediate right is Hania Momeni from BDP Quadrangle, and then we have Dev Mehta, who's a principal at BDP as well. Francisco Cordero is a senior planner in the audience, and Stephanie Pham from BA Group is also in the audience, and Darius Ryback from the Aspen Ridge High Rise Division. He oversees that division. He's in the audience as well. Online virtually, we have our heritage architect, Phil Goldsmith, and we have Bill Chan, who is our mechanical engineer with MB Shore. So just a few remarks. This project is a really unique project. It's a slender mid-rise with a heritage building attached to it. One of the things that you should be aware of is that we've met with city staff a number of times over the summer, 3 times in fact, to workshop this design, to get into a place that they were comfortable with. Subsequent to the submission of the application, we've reduced the number of variances down to 5 from 8, and 2 of the 5 that remain are even reduced themselves. One of them being the balcony width, which is now 1.7 meters instead of 1.85, and the density is reduced as well from 4.65 down to 4.62. So those are all positive things. Another positive attribute of this project is that the building fits within the as-of-right zoned envelope, with the exception of a west-facing window. And that window is separated from the nearest tower, which is Casa 3, a 55-story building, by 26.4 meters. So it's adhering to the tall building guidelines in that respect. That's the main positive. We can go into some of the other aspects of the variances if you have questions about them, but those are the main things. Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Mr. Byatt has a question.
Thank you, Agent and Chair. When I looked at this project, I thought it was a rather interesting one and very appropriate for that particular site. I think I was also particularly impressed with the fact that you the treatment of the heritage building, which I think is critical in our city. The only question I had was, at the rear of the building, you've got balconies. And I was just wondering, on both the east and west sides, do you have privacy issues for the potential residents of this building? Because there's a very large building on the east side that would have overlook. So I'm not sure how you're treating that. So
the rear balcony is actually that actually complies with the zoning bylaw. That's a 1.5 meter balcony. So if there's issues of overlook, I mean, the building is permitted as of right. Toronto is a very dense, and it's some places are very urban, and there will be an urban condition there for sure. There's ways to treat that. I think through the site plan process, they could put protective screens on the flanking sides of the balcony on the east side there, and so that way, both the residents of this project would have some a modicum of privacy, and so would the residents to the building to the east that you're speaking of.
Okay, thank you.
I have one question or two. First one is very short. Are these rental units?
Window units?
No, rental.
Rental. Well, they haven't decided yet, but I think it's going to be rental. And even if it is a condominium project, this is an investor-driven market, and I'm pretty sure that 90% of those units will be rental anyways.
Okay, yeah. Second question is, I do not know whether I missed something, but in your covering letter, September 5th, It seems that something some variances that you mentioned in the letter do not appear in front of us.
Right.
So the letter is outdated, I assume.
Yes, the letter is outdated. So those are the three variances I spoke of. When we were discussing it with the zoning examiner, he said, no, you actually comply with those variances.
Oh, okay, so what we in front of us is that the letter is, okay, thank you. That's all I want to clarify. Yes, Mr. Goss.
You mentioned that you complied with the tall building guidelines with respect to some aspects. I'm just wondering, with respect to the proposed or the under construction tower immediately to the east of this site, what's the separation distance there, and what's your sort of thought and take on the reasonableness for both buildings?
So that building, I was actually involved in the planning of that building, so I know it quite well. It's the lower floors of that building above the heritage element, so floors 4 to 6 or 7 is set back 8.1 meters. There's a separation of 8.1 meters from this building, and then the top 3 floors would be 6.7 and 3 meters.
So any more questions?
Just one question.
Yes, please, Mr. Gogan. Yeah.
Just any concerns about the request from Heritage on the request with regard to building permit review and going back to them for Heritage permit?
No objection.
Okay. So no more question. We are ready we bring the matter into committee and make a decision. So anyone will comment? Yeah, Mr. Bayat, yes.
Sure, if you're ready for a motion, Chair.
Sure, yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move a motion to approve the application. The only condition that we have is the heritage condition.
Yes.
Outside of that, I think there's been full compliance with the requirements.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I have the same feeling. I think this is appropriate development for the site. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and second, Mr. Gogan, Mr. Goss, second. All in favor?
And,
sorry.
sorry, just because
Yes.
we're supposed to give reasons, so I just also wanted to say that I think it's very appropriate. I appreciate the large size units. I think the fact that it fits within the zoning envelope, like you say, makes it appropriate. And I think you'd also have a very different response if you hadn't treated the heritage so well. So for those reasons, I think it's appropriate.
Okay. All in favor? Approve. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And then, okay, the next item. Next item 2, and the address is 69 RONCESVALLES Avenue. And the purpose for this application is to alter the existing 2-story mixed-use building by converting the second-story residential unit into an additional commercial space. A new dental office will occupy the entire building. They're asking for 2 variances. So please, for the agent, Mr. Cordero.
Through you, Madam Chair, please read through the materials list.
Oh, yes, I forgot that. Yeah. Okay, what we have received for this item is a plan of survey, site plan, floor plan, and elevations, cover letter from Craig Ewan, from the agent, and also email corresponding from transportation, and support letter from Matt Waddle, received October 31st.
Through you, Madam Chair, for this item, we only have the agent speaking, who is here in person. We don't have any other registered speakers.
Okay, so can I check with my panel whether they want to have a presentation then? Do you require representation or ready for questions? Yeah, we can ask questions. No, they don't require. Yeah, and then, do you have any questions?
Maybe just one, if I. What's the upstairs being, the top floor being used for currently?
It's been a vacant residential unit for some time. So
Vacancy.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so we are ready to make, just stay, we haven't made a decision yet. So, yeah, we are in committee now. Anyone have comments and motion?
I'll make the motion.
Yes, Mr. Gogan, yes, go ahead. Yeah.
And I think the motion is it is truly minor in nature, and it is, I think it's appropriate given the fact that it's improving kind of the employment area in the city as well, and it's adjacent to the community. So I think it's very appropriate, and I move that motion that you approve the application.
Yeah, Mr. Baez, second. All in favor? Approve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Sorry, through the chair.
Chair, before we proceed, just a friendly reminder to our members, please turn on your mics, and when you're speaking, speak directly into
Yeah,
the
be
mics,
soft.
because we're having a little bit of an issue on YouTube and WebEx hearing all of you, but that's okay. Okay, we're ready for item number 3.
okay. Item number 3 is 14801492 and also 1492R Dundas Street East. The purpose for this is this lot contains 2 3-story apartment buildings with a total of 16 dwelling units and 1 2-story 4-plex detached building with 22 surface parking spaces. To construct 4 basement dwelling, 2 units in each apartment. Therefore, will be a total of 24 units on this lot. And they're asking for 16 variances. And what we have received is a copy of survey and site plans and elevations, 3 photographs of the property, and also cover letter from the agent and rental unit demolition and conversion form. And we are ready for the agent. Is he online? Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair, so we do have the agent online, and we do have 1 speaker in opposition online.
Okay, so can we have the agent? You have, we need a brief presentation from you since you have opposition.
Adam, you
Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. Hi.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. My name is Adam Brander, Brander Architects. Our address is 260 Carlaw, Suite 202D, and I'm the agent and the architect of the proposal at 1480, 1492,
Okay.
1492R Dundas Street East.
Okay, go ahead. We're ready for your presentation.
Thank you. This proposal is to convert existing vacant basement area in the front buildings on the site to residential units, 4 in total, 2 in each building. So there's no initial proposed change to the public realm in this project or anything above grade. Initially, it was thought that the use of this vacant basement space was good to add some residential units to the area. And we've had discussions with planning, and the feedback came back that with each application is an opportunity to improve sites. So there's actually an updated site plan that has been added to the file late. These conversations with planning just happened in the last few days, but coming out of it is variance number 5 is removed. Variance number 6 is removed. So that involves providing an accessible.
Can you slow down? How many you removing? Yeah. Can you repeat that for us, please? Yeah. Sorry. I saw.
Yeah, that's variance 5. That's up on the screen right now is being removed. Variance 6 is removed, confirming 3 designated visitor parking spaces.
Okay.
And variance 10 and 11 per the public notice relating to landscaping. If we can just scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
Are being reduced. So.
Being reduced to, yeah, you have to tell us what the reduction is, yeah.
So 101.84 meters squared is being provided as landscaping, which is 7%.
It's for variance number
Variance 10.
10. It's 11%. And
101.84 meters squared, which is 7%.
or 7%.
And for variance 11, 101.84 meters squared is being provided, which is 14% of the required soft landscaping.
It's 14%. Yeah. So do you have this revision, do you have sort of revised site plan to indicate this revision, or you just change on the numbers? Yeah.
No, it's been provided to the technician, and he said he's uploaded to the file.
Okay, thank you.
And further, for this application, of all these,
Let him finish
Just
his
a-
presentation first. Yeah. Yeah, please finish your
Yeah.
presentation first. Yeah.
thank you. So of all these variances that are applied to the site, they're a factor of this existing site. And we're proposing to improve it in the case of landscaping, soft landscaping. The only variance that is related strongly to the application is the use of the basement space. So in an apartment building, when the basement area is designated as residential and no longer storage space, it counts towards the GFA number that's applied to the site. So it's just a change of use that's the only related variance. Everything else that's been broken out in much detail is a product of this existing configuration on the site with a loop driveway basically and the parking spaces as they've been. There's one item that was clarified as well. There's a right-of-way on the property in favor of the neighboring property. Initially, it was thought that was specified for pedestrian access to the property, but it's been clarified it's for vehicular as well. So there was never any parking spaces in the right-of-way that traverses the lot that we're looking at right now on the screen in favor of the curbs on street neighbor. So that was one point of clarification. Yeah, in summary, this is just using the basement space to arguably a better use as residential units, and the oddness of the site in a residential zone in its existing configuration is where we stumble onto a number of related variances for the existing condition above grade. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to ask questions now? Yes, please.
No, just through you,
Yes.
Madam Chair, and my apologies for speaking out of turn earlier. I'm sure the problem is all mine, but I just couldn't identify this document in the supplemental material package.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
This was submitted very late, so it didn't make it part of the supplemental, but it is presented on the
One that he
screen.
had was shown
Yes,
on the screen.
yeah. So that shows the crossed out zoning review with those
Okay.
changes, as well as the revised plan.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
And that's on the screen now.
so we have captured all the changes. That's what I want to, yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. So we can listen to the next speaker.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes. We can move on to the opposition speaker.
Is the timer on? Because I don't see it on my screen.
Yes, we're timing it up on the screen. Yes,
all
and
right.
through WebEx and
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, please, the next speaker. What?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, is Ms. Connor?
good
Yes,
morning.
please, yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Oh, great. Good morning. My name is Tara Connor. I am speaking on behalf of the owners of 139 Curzon Street. So originally, we were in receipt of the site plan drawing A00 dated February 21st, 2023. And the owners were objecting to the requested variances noted at 2 and 3 on the public notice dated November 7th, 2023. It was due to the applicant's property is subject to a right-of-way to the benefit of the property at 139 Curzon Street. But I note that we weren't in receipt of the revised site plan that just came in that we viewed. And there were concerns with some of the existing parking spaces or the proposed parking spaces parking within or protruding the actual right-of-way. And there was concerns with that. And that would impact the owner of 139 Curzon Street's access of the driveway that they have right to. So I see that that's now clear.
Okay. So what your concern also resolved? Is that what you're saying?
It appears to be, as long as there is no parking spaces that protrude the right-of-way that they have right to.
Okay, thank you. All right. So you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, can we have Mr. Brand back? Do you want to respond to the what these speakers have said? Yeah. Hello?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've been unmuted now. Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, in response to the other party, the site plan before us now shows it's kind of like a square shape that has a rectangle connecting down to the street. That's the kind of unusual regular shape of the right-of-way, but there are no proposed aspects or anything within that area. So I believe it satisfies the concern.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Any question to the speaker, please? Yeah. Mr. Bai has a question.
Thank you, Agent. Just a quick one. From your the purpose, I see most of the actual alterations that are happening, basically all internal changes that are happening, other than, of course, the parking spaces. But any physical changes seem to be all internal. Am I correct in that?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, that's correct. The one improvement that we made to the site after conversations with planning is the addition of soft landscaping. So that's been improved to reduce a variance, but initially the intent of the proposal was to occupy the basement space on the inside.
Sorry to interrupt. I take it that previously the zero landscaping that you had in variants 10 and 11, that was existing, and you've improved.
Yeah, that's how it's documented on the site plan, and we've gone into greater detail to add some where it could be added as well.
That's great. Thank you.
So can I ask a question? So you tied the decision to your revised site plan. Can you give us the date that the site plan is dated? Yeah. The revised site plan, yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, the revised site plan was provided to
November,
the technician yesterday, today.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So any more questions, please? Oh, yeah, we have a couple more questions. Please, Mr. Goss. Yeah.
The application as it's worded, I think, might need to be corrected just in the purpose section, because if I read the plans correctly, it's 4 new dwelling units. So the 16 plus the 4 will be a total of 20, not 24. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. There should be 18 existing surface parking spaces, not 24 per the right-of-way agreement.
No, I know it's the number of total dwelling units. If this variance were granted, there would be 4 new units. That's what I saw, 2 in each of the 2 apartment buildings, for a total of 20 dwelling units.
And it says, but then it says 2 4-plans. detached fourplex.
There's,
Oh, I see. That's
also
my,
the-
that's my math. Okay. Never mind that. I appreciate it. Okay, the other question I had was in terms of looking to improve your site as part of an application, was there any consideration to giving any bicycle parking?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, there's intent to add bicycle parking to the site in future projects on the site. Currently, in the back building on the on the east side of the site plan, there's bike storage included inside the rear building and some of that space that's existing and maintained. The trickiness of the site is when adding bike parking to make it safe and secure on the site. But we're looking into that in future submissions to increase it and potentially reduce the vehicular parking. But for the time being, all existing parking has to remain on the site per the zoning bylaw. So that's the balancing of zoning and planning that we're working with.
Do you understand what he said? I don't understand what you said. What it is that you're going to maintain the existing number of bicycle parking, but in the future you might be able to increase it? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, and if you look at this site plan, the existing one-story building at the top right-hand corner of the site provides some existing bike parking within that structure.
Yeah. So that's that is the bike parking area. So if we're going to tie it to a decision, can we say that the existing bike parking will be maintained?
Yeah.
Okay. At least.
And how many spaces, how many bikes are currently able to be stored in that area?
The way they're existing is not per the space requirements of the newly designated bike parking space allocation. So that if we could just keep it as existing, I think that would be best.
No, I'm fine with that. Makes sense in terms of wording in an approval, but I'm just interested for my own information how many are stored there.
It is better if you can give us a real number, make it easier for us, but yeah.
One second. I have 6 bike parking being stored there currently.
Okay, thank you.
Did he say 6? Okay. 6?
Yeah.
Oh, 6, okay. Thank you. Mr. Gogan has another question for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. My question is about, on the plans, it looks like on the basement level you have light wells or windows on the basement level, but when I look at the photographs, there don't appear to be any windows into the basement. Are you going to be adding light wells and windows into the basement for the 2 properties, or am I just not seeing the information correctly?
Which photos are you referring to?
Your plans show for the below grade basement, they show windows around the building on the south side and east and west side. But when I look at the building photographs, there don't appear to be any basement windows visible. Are you?
Okay.
Do you have to
Through you, Madam Chair, there was building permits for this site recently that included the window well components as a part of the building permit. The photos you might be referring to are the more historical ones, maybe, that were provided to show the existing site condition in 2007, I think.
Okay, so the property currently has windows?
Yes.
Got it, okay. Thank you.
Or at least the proposed one will have these windows, yeah. Okay. All right, any more questions? Are ready we are ready to take it into committee for decision. Okay, any comments or motion? Okay, Mr. Byett, yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take this one. I think the application as amended certainly makes a lot more sense. It's a positive increase in residential units on a major thoroughfare in the city. There are no other conditions that I'm aware of with regard to this application.
Except I thought we accept his offer of maintaining the bicycle parking, the 6 existing bicycle.
Certainly, we can certainly add that the existing bicycle parking spaces be maintained. That would be one condition. But as amended, I think the application is acceptable, and I'd like to move approval.
Anyone wants to second that? Mr. Gogan will second, yes.
I'll second, I agree with Mr. Byett's comments. Adding to the inventory of housing, working with the existing building fabric, and also finding an equitable solution for parking on site, I think is and I support, I second.
Okay, all in favor? Approve unanimously. Yeah, 6 parking space will be maintained. Okay, thank you. And, okay, we read.
Sorry,
Yes.
I think the language they wanted was existing bike parking because they had an issue with it being 6.
Oh, we don't want to put a number in.
We don't want to put the.
Okay, so
note
take away the number, maybe will be more. Yeah, the existing parking spaces will be maintained. Yes, thank you. That's a good idea. So item number 4, we have 35 ALVIN Avenue. And just the purpose for this application is to alter the existing 3-story detached building by constructing a front covered porch and a rear 2-story addition with a rear ground floor deck, a rear staircase access to the 2nd story, and a rear 3rd-story deck. They're asking for 4 variances. And we have received on this file a copy of survey, site plan, floor plans, elevation, 5 photographs of trees on the property, and also presentation material, and also a staff report from the tree protection from urban forestry. So,
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers.
okay, thank you. We are ready for the agent. Please go ahead. We are ready for you. Yeah.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Jonathan Benskowski, please.
Yes.
301 Kewanee Avenue.
Yeah. Because you do not have any opposition, can I check with my panelists whether they want to have a presentation first? Do anyone require, or you strict to questions? We would like to go to strict, to ask you questions. Okay? Yeah, any questions?
Thank you.
Mr. Byett has a question.
Just a couple, actually only one question, but comment prior to that. I think this application is one that I remember coming before us, and I can't remember if it was deferred earlier. In any event, I find the treatment to the front of the house, the glass front, most interesting, and I think it lends itself very well to that particular streetscape. The only question I have is, and I think we may have raised this before, is the 3rd floor rear terrace that you have, or deck. I know there will be overlook on both the north and south sides, but I don't seem to see a height that would be the appropriate one. I may be mistaken, but I would like to see this at a 1.5 meter height on the north and the south side for some privacy, opaque screening perhaps?
Through you, Madam Chair. Yes, Mr. Byte, that is an existing deck that is already there today. There is an alteration proposed to that rear portion, but if the committee sees fit, we would be happy to put the privacy screening up to the north and the south. But I would also speak, Mr. Byte, that both the adjacent properties to the north and the south are also similar commercial type properties. They're not residential rear yards of dwellings, essentially.
I see. Thank you. In which case, the privacy screen may not be a necessary item. Thank you.
I have one question. I probably repeat what you just said, but I want to make sure. And given this location, I think this conversion sort of makes sense, but can you tell me whether this is a common kind of conversions in this area?
Yeah, Madam Chair, this stretch of ALVIN is fairly an interesting portion. It's one street east of Yonge Street, really at Yonge and St. Clair area. This stretch right now essentially contains residential built form dwellings that essentially all have doctor's offices, daycares. There really is no residential dwellings purpose-built on this street. To the north, at 45 and 43 and 41, we see some residential dwellings. But this building today is occupied and has been previously occupied by a dentist, various doctor's office, various uses. The property today has a residential unit that is on the third floor. The proposal we have is essentially to put that residential unit in the basement, although not technically a rental residential unit. It would be used to house the kind of visiting instructors that would stay at the place of business that would be there. So we're essentially flipping the actual use of taking the residential on that third floor and putting that residential in the basement, and therefore utilizing the first, second, and third for the occupant of the entire building. But again, this is today a mixed-use building, essentially just flipped from what we're doing today. And this exists all along ALVIN Avenue. We did put in some photos of a presentation that we actually used throughout the zoning process. One of the original variances that were identified by staff is you can convert these buildings and you can use them as offices, but you can't alter that front look from being a residential building. So within my materials, through you, Madam Chair, as Mr. Byett previously spoke of, that curved entrance there, we did submit some comparison photos kind of speaking to that, and through dealing with the zoning examiner, as well as the manager of zoning, they were in agreement that we really weren't altering that front residential look of the building through adding that glass sort of roof wall.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really good answer. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So any more questions, please? So we don't have any more questions. We're ready to make decisions. So anything else you want to address the panel first?
I'm happy with the forestry condition that has been put in.
Is there a forestry condition for this one?
Forestry number 2.
I believe
Number
there
two,
is,
okay.
Madam Chair.
All right. So motion, please. Then. Yeah. Mr. Goss has. Yeah.
This seems like an appropriate improvement to the office, mixed-use office use of that building on a very interesting street. So subject to forestry condition 2, I move to approve.
Yeah. Anyone second? Mr. Byett second. All in favor? Approve. Thank you. So we're ready for item number 5. Number 5, the address is 110 Roberts Avenue. The purpose for this application is to construct a new 3-story detached dwelling with a front 3rd-story balcony and a front covered porch and a rear ground floor deck. The existing rear shed and the rear parking space will be maintained and unaltered. They are asking for 8 variances. And on this file, we have received copy of plan and survey, site plan, floor plan elevations, 16 photographs of the existing structural damage of the property, and also summary of committee adjustment decisions, and also correspondence from the applicant in response to Metrolink's comment. and comparison existing and proposed site plan from the agent. And also, we have email corresponding from senior planner, development planning, and also staff report for urban forestry, and from Metrolink, and also from transportation services. And we have 4 letters of support, and we have oppositions, 3 oppositions from Robert Streets. So,
Through you, Madam Chair, for this item, we do have the agent on the line and no registered speakers.
oh, okay. So, can we have the agent, please?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Goldsmith?
Hello,
Yeah? Because you do have some opposition, written oppositions, maybe you can give us a very, very brief presentation? Or?
Through you, Madam Chair, there's no registered speakers for this item.
Oh, but and they
I
are
believe those are
written
the
form.
owners of the property.
Oh, okay. So, so I'm going to check with my panels whether they want to have a presentation then. Anyone want this? Okay, we do not need have a presentation. Maybe we'll go straight into questions. Anyone have questions? Yeah. Okay, Mr. Bai has a question, please.
Just on variance number 4, you're requesting a reduction in soft landscaping in front yard. Is that an existing condition?
In terms of the variance number 4, the existing condition is not because the existing porch is much smaller than proposed. So we're actually extending the porch a bit more bigger than what it is. And with that, we're taking a bit of a soft yard landscaping. But I'd also like to point out to the city. Give me 1 second. The proposed soft landscaping also consists with nearby such dwellings such as 8 Silverthorne Avenue with 65%, which was approved, and 403 McRoberts Avenue, which has 52%, which was approved.
I take it, I'm just looking at the site plan and I don't really see any opportunity to improve that 67%. So I imagine that's what you're stuck with right now.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Goss has a question.
One of the written letters in opposition was from the neighbor speaking about a loss of light to some of the rooms in their building. And looking at the site plan, it looks like maybe the window well addresses this. I'm wondering if you know whether that, or sorry, the light well on the 3rd story might line up with the windows of that adjacent house. I'm wondering if you know if that's the case.
Unfortunately, in this case, the window well, which is located in the 3rd story, is a bit farther from where the existing window in the neighbor is. Unfortunately, it's gonna line up, but I'd also like to point out to the city that the sun rises from east to west. So I'm not sure about angles, but there eventually should be some type of angle coming from the west side where it should get some sunlight on that side for the neighbor.
Okay, thank you.
And also like to point out, yeah, not a problem. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question. Ms. Byatt, please.
Thank you. There was just one other item on the rear of the house. Oh no, that's the front elevation I'm looking at. Bear with me a second. I thought I saw. Okay, no, the balcony is on the front, not the rear. There's a
No, it's in the.
Yeah, I was wondering about privacy screening, but the balcony's at the front, so that's not an issue. There is a transportation condition, and I believe there's a Metrolinx condition, not an advisory. And I assume that you would be aware of that, plus forestry.
Yes, we are aware with forestry. I would just like to point out that the owner of the corresponding lot would like to speak about the Metrolinx. So I believe they should be also online. I'm not sure the staff can confirm that.
I don't understand your remark.
Through you, Madam Chair, he's referring to the owner of the property.
Yes.
So we can unmute them.
All right. So yeah, please go ahead and let him give us a little presentation. Then yeah.
Good morning, Madam Chair. My name is Sean DeHonorin, and I'm accompanied by my wife, Anne Reed DeHonorin. We're the property owners at 110 McRoberts Street.
Hi, Sean. Can you just speak a little bit more loud or directly into your headset? We're having trouble hearing you.
Absolutely. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, and I apologize for that. With respect to the MetroLink request for an environmental easement, I just want to draw the committee's attention to our submission dated November 27th. I think it's a really important submission because we did a comparison to what MetroLinks is saying compared to what is actually worded in Section 3.9 of the Federation of the Canadian Municipalities and Railway Associations of Canada Guidelines for New Developments in Proximity to Railway Operations. And so what MetroLinks is saying does not actually align with what is in 3.9. We did speak to MetroLinks. MetroLinks conceded that the guide does not grant them authority to request this conveyance. I also want to point out when we spoke to MetroLinks, they couldn't confirm that our property was in fact 300 meters adjacent to the railway corridor. So those are issues that we want to highlight for committee. In addition to that, we did do some research into jurisprudence. There was a TLAB case with respect to 45 William Street. And so just to highlight some things that came out of that case, firstly, they examined the proximity of 45 William Street. It was 3 blocks or better distant from the rail corridor, and it was in an area fully developed with long-term residential properties. So to confirm, we've provided an image in our document. Our property is over 3 blocks distance from that MetroLinks rail corridor. And in addition to that, we are in an area that is fully developed with long-term residential properties. Ultimately, what TLAB found was that the imposition of an easement for 45 Williams would constitute an inequality, and we're arguing the same position. So we would really like the committee to consider this. Like, our position on this is the MetroLink submission seems predatory and that it relies on owners not doing the research, not contesting it, and we think it would be very unfair. The other thing that I wanted to highlight for committee is just to bring their attention to a submission yesterday from the city. It's entitled CA Transportation Email Correspondence, and it's dated November 28th. We were able to speak to the city about their request for a conveyance, and the city has ultimately decided that they're no longer requesting that conveyance. And so we just want to express our gratitude to the city in kind of rolling back that. And I would also, if it's okay, I'd also like to talk to the committee a little bit about us and just give you a little bit of history very briefly. We bought the house in 2016. In 2016, we were a family of 3. There was my wife, myself, and our daughter. Fast forward to today, and we're a family of 5. So our 2-bedroom home no longer meets our needs. We also wanted to highlight for committee that, we are losing 5 windows to the sides of our house, but what we are gaining is space, and we're prioritizing that in terms of the quality of life for our kids. Specifically on the 3rd floor, they each get access to a room where they can have a little bit of privacy. And so the other thing I wanted to address is our neighbors' concerns at 112 McRoberts. We did have a call scheduled with them and our builder. Unfortunately, 2 hours before that discussion was supposed to happen, our neighbors canceled. We can't force people to talk to us, but we have long-term stake and interest in this neighborhood and maintaining a positive relationship to those around us. So our commitment to our neighbors and our commitment to committees that we will always be open to communications, and we're always going to be open to addressing concerns. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak today. And if you have any questions, please do feel free to ask.
I do have a question. I sort of a little bit concerned about the MetroLink business. Are you still working with them, or I'm not too sure the committee assessment has mandate to actually intervene with what MetroLink's requirement, it's,
Well, what we're hoping the committee will do, because, and again, I can quote the language for you. So Metrolinx is saying that the guide directs that owners shall grant Metrolinx an environmental easement for operational emissions, and they cite section 3.9.
yes.
What the guide actually states is municipalities should consider the use of environmental easements for operational emissions registered on title of development properties to ensure clear notification to those who may acquire an interest in the property in the future. And so notice the language in the guide actually speaks about municipalities and not Metrolinx. Metrolinx is an agency. Sorry, our
That's,
little one's at home with us.
can I,
Metrolinx
sorry.
is an agency.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yes.
Actually, you explained. But my question is that are you asking us to override what Metrolinx require you to do, or you are in communication with them? Maybe you can resolve certain agreement with them between you and Metrolinx.
Sorry. What we're saying is that with respect to that condition, Metrolinx actually has no authority to come to the committee and ask for that condition.
Yes.
And so we're suggesting to the committee that you don't have to impose that condition on us. And what I'd also suggest to the committee is that if Metrolinx wants that condition, if they actually want to pursue that, they do have recourse through expropriation. So again, right, like I think what I would respectfully suggest, and I may be misreading the situation, I think the committee is deferring to the Metrolinx submission. What we're suggesting to you is no, that submission is actually factually incorrect when compared to section 3.9 of the guide. In addition to that, I'll once again point you to the TLAB decision where they rejected Metrolinx's imposition of that easement, right? And so there is jurisprudence and there's also factual issues with respect to Metrolinx's submission. Mm-hmm. And again, right, our position is that because Metrolinx isn't accurately reporting the facts to the committee, that condition shouldn't be applied to us.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. As from your point of view, it's not appropriate, or they should not have put that condition on. I thought that maybe if you can convey your idea with them, it will be. Then we don't have to be put in position to override their recommendation. So okay, I'm going to have to. My panel members have some comment on this. I'm going to let them speak. Yeah. Mr. Goss, yeah, and Mr. Bayat, yes.
Sorry, Chair, I was just going to ask, perhaps we should seek guidance from Secretary Treasurer.
Yes, I was going to do that too, yeah.
Mr. Gosh, sorry, did you want to say something first before I respond?
Sure, yeah,
Okay.
maybe I'll just ask a couple questions first. So I think what you're raising is very interesting. You're saying we should approve it without the condition requested by Metrolinx because Metrolinx doesn't have the right to approve the condition. And I think it's also interesting that you've cited a TLAB decision that apparently made a similar request. The issue I have is we haven't had a chance to review that TLAB decision. I did just search your site, and it is within 300 meters of the rail corridor. It's about 215 meters from the rail corridor. So I guess my question for you is, would your preference be to have the committee approve this, and this is a hypothetical, but with the Metrolinx condition, or to defer and look at the TLAB ruling that you're referring to and not approve it at all?
In my opinion, is that it's to their better interest if we approve with the Metrolinx condition, because if it's unjust.
No, I was more asking what
Yeah.
he would
Then
he
he got-
approve to would he prefer it to be approved?
Oh, yeah.
Or with the condition and then fight it at TLAB, and keeping in mind that a new panel might be equally confused by this issue that you're raising.
Yeah. But my problem is that if it's the second choice, which is
Yeah.
like to what's that one, to defer and then find out what the TLAB say. When it comes back to us, we still do not have this better tool to say override Metrolinx's request. I think it's still the same. Right?
I'm not
It's not?
sure that I agree. I think if this TLAB decision says
base on
that
the-
Metrolinx was wrong to make this request, and it does seem that it is about the same request, then that's it's not necessarily binding on us, but it's something we can take into account in saying, no, we're not going to approve it here because TLAB has come out and said in a very similar situation, the same condition was inappropriate.
Okay. I understand what your point is, but I still get worried about overriding some requests that they have. They don't have. They're not given a chance to defend themselves either, right? Metrolink, we just override it. If in that case.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I was asking the homeowner what his preference would be on this issue. Maybe we can have him answer, or do you think you have something valuable to add before we?
Through you, Madam Chair, I would pose the question to the homeowner first, right? So there's two options.
Yeah.
Okay. So any comment on that step? Mr. Gogan, yes.
Hi, thank you. Just a quick question for the applicant. This is a new project. Why are you not able to comply with the side yard setbacks?
Is that a question for me or for our builder?
Well, we have two questions. We have a question that maybe that one is more for the agent, but if the homeowner was listening to my question, so I'm going to try to reword it again in a more succinct way, but would...
I completely understand your question, and I am prepared to provide you with an answer. So just two things to consider. We've actually attached the TLAB decision as Annex B, so it is here for you. The other thing that I would respectfully suggest to the tribunal is that this has also been contested at the Land Tribunal. We found a total of 9 cases there. And so with the TLAB decision and with Land Tribunal, in none of those instances has Metrolinx actually even showed up to defend their letter. In addition to that, Metrolinx was aware that we were contesting today. We provided them notice. They decided not to show up. So, again, right, like it's a situation, again, where we look at this, what Metrolinx is trying to impose as being predatory. It doesn't actually reflect the document that they're citing. It doesn't reflect the text. And so, if we can't get a successful decision today, then yes, please do defer it, because that encumbrance on our title is a big deal. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Is it the decision to defer the whole application?
He would rather defer than
Yeah, and
have us
then-
impose the Metrolinx condition, but through you, Madam Chair, to Madam Secretary Treasurer, is it an allowable procedure for us to hold down an application until the afternoon hearing to come back to an application later?
So through you, Madam Chair, no, we can't do that. We'll have to deal with this morning. If the landowner is supportive of a deferral in order to have further conversations with Metrolinx, in order for Metrolinx to resubmit perhaps maybe an advisory memo, then that's a consideration. And then let me finish. And then before we move into any sort of motion, perhaps we can go back to the applicant about the question of the side yard setback.
Yes, there's another question on that, Can we have the applicant or the agent who's speaking of the design of the building? We have a question for you about the side yard setback.
Yes, the reason, I provided the committee with photos to show the existing structure that has been altered by the previous owners of 110 McRoberts. So these are the 14 photos I submitted to the committee. I don't know if you could put them on, if you could show them.
Yeah, it's on our screen, right? You're referring
Okay.
yeah.
Yes. So as you can see, from lofty columns cut into wood beams, foundation wall decay, and the installation of stone facade not having the proper supports, clearly it has not been done with any permits, city permits, professional engineers, professional and responsible contractors. So for these reasons, the owners are opting to rebuild the entire house as close as possible to existing footprint for this reason, we are applying to the committee to the relief of side yard setbacks on the both south and north of 1.5 meters. We do understand this is quite a bit, but we would like to keep it close to existing footprint as possible. The owner and their family should not pay for the carelessness and unprofessionalism of the previous owner, contractor, or builder. So in other words, we basically want to keep it as close as possible. We would have done it earlier by keeping the existing structure, but because of the existing work that has been done to the structure, as well as everything that's been done to that structure it's not done up to code or any engineering firms. So for that reason, we are asking the committee for this relief of side yard setbacks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So the existing building is currently non-compliant?
It's existing condition, yeah. Even if they build the same house, they have to come here for the variance. But when I look back, I think that we should go back to the first question, is to defer this case. So these details may be premature to ask anyway. So the panel has a suggestion that to defer this case so that the applicant or the owner can work or go back to the MetroLink and find some maybe different advisory comments. So are we still moving into that direction? Yeah. Yes, please, yeah.
Can we approve the motion as is and then leave it to the applicant to sort out the issue with MetroLinks to the satisfaction of the city? So if MetroLinks releases that requirement, then...
No.
So through you, Madam Chair, you can approve the application with no conditions or approve the application with conditions. You don't have to impose this condition that MetroLinks has recommended. It's a letter that is before you for consideration.
Okay.
Madam Secretary Treasurer, do you know, under the current legislation, is MetroLinks a party that could appeal our decision if we made the decision to go ahead without the MetroLinks condition?
Through you, Madam Chair, yes. I've never seen it happen. And MetroLinks is not going to attend Committee of Adjustment applications. They submit their reports for consideration, and then it's up to the panel members.
Are we in committee or still asking?
Yes, we're in committee.
Actually, I still have one question I forgot to ask the applicant, please.
So we're coming out of committee then?
Yeah, sorry, because we've all discussed, and I forgot to ask my question, is that the transportation, I want to just have some clarification on the transportation report. They had two, right? The first one, they asking you for some kind of conveyance, and the second one saying that they revised their comment and have no objection. Does that mean that they take away that requirement? They said they revised their comment, but they didn't say revised to what?
Yeah, so it's Sean DeHonorin again. With respect to city plans, they have come back and they're saying they no longer require that conveyance.
Okay.
Their position is they had initially erred on the side of caution in requesting it, and now they've revised that. May I just add one thing with respect to the MetroLinks issue? Again, we have spoken to MetroLinks. Our belief is that MetroLinks is not going to change its position. So what we're relying on is the jurisprudence, the case law from TILA.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Is that clear?
Okay, we're going back into committee.
Yes, now we are committee now. Sorry, yeah. Thank you. Mr. Goss.
I don't want to go ahead of anyone else who wanted to make comments.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I thought that he had his hand raised.
So I have taken a minute or two here to find that TLAB decision, and I do think the applicant is
correct,
accurately portraying it.
Okay.
TLAB didn't want to impose an environmental easement without Metrolinx giving evidence as to why.
Okay.
Like just a letter saying we want one wasn't considered enough by TLAB. I'm not saying that that's something that needs to direct the committee in every situation, but in this situation where the applicant is specifically asking not to have the easement, and with Metrolinx able to appeal, I would tend to actually side with the applicant, and my preference would be to approve it without the Metrolinx condition, let them be the ones to appeal. Because my concern is if we defer, it'll be another committee that will be looking at this again. If we do defer, what I would suggest for the applicant is that you put more of your case law in your covering letter to make it clear why you believe this is the case, because I think that's what the committee really would need. But so that's my thought is we could put the onus on Metrolinx to be the ones to appeal. I understand why you wouldn't want an easement on your property saying we're allowing environmental emissions when the other people don't want it, but I also understand the importance of Metrolinx getting these easements.
I understand, yeah.
So it's sort of a balancing act, but I think I would lean towards putting the onus on Metrolinx given that we have an opposition.
I tend to agree with you. Those are good comments. Do we have a motion then? Mr. Bayer,
Well, I wonder if
any comments?
Does anyone else have any comments to those comments? Or?
Maybe if I can just throw one in. I was just wondering whether, I mean, our choice is either to suggest a deferral or to approve without the condition. Approving without the condition, my concern always is, does this bring additional problems for the applicant owner long term? Because what we're looking at in terms of the TLAB issue, and I haven't read it in detail, just looking at it, is the owner applicant's response. It's not from TLAB, but he's got pieces in there. My concern is for the owner applicant is that will our approval without that condition create an issue later on?
I think that without the condition will create less issue. With the condition, it create more. I tend to agree with Mr. Goss because Metrolinx has the right to appeal if they really do not like that, right? That is what why I moved to agree with Mr. Goss' comments on that. With a condition, then they do not know. Then they have to answer what Metrolinx, even is unreasonable. It seems right. That's my comment. Yeah. Any other comments? So maybe Mr. Goss, you can make a motion.
I'll move to. Were there any other conditions that this was subject to, forestry or anything? I'm trying to. Forestry and transportation. Okay, so I move to approve this. It's.
Oh, no transportation, sorry. The transportation, they're taking it out.
Oh, they took that out.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an appropriate development of the site, and the variances required are minor to enable that appropriate development, and so I move to approve it subject to forestry condition number 3 and not subject to the Metrolinx condition.
Mr. Bayer, second. All in favor? Approve. The forestry condition 3.
Through you, Madam Chair. So the next two items, item number 6 and item number 7, probably hear those two items at the same time.
Yes. Before that, do any of you want to have a break or? Okay, let's go to item number 6 then. Yeah, item number 6 and 7 is the address is 22A and 22 Austin Terrace, and the purpose for I think they are just next to each other. The to alter the existing 2-story semi-detached by constructing a front porch with steps and also a front basement walkout with a patio and a rear ground floor lower deck with a rear upper deck on top of existing rebuilt carport. There will be 2 residential dwelling units and which is 1 primary unit and a secondary unit in the basement. They're asking for 66, number 6, I'm so sorry, like item number 6, they're asking for 3 variances. And item number 7, they're asking for also 3. And on this file, we have received copy of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, 4 photographs of trees, and also cover letter from the agent, email corresponding from the agent, and key plan for correspondence received from the agent, and photograph for 2 property and some presentation material, and a staff report from Urban Forestry, and they have support from Austin Terrace and Castleview Avenue, 3 addresses from Castleview and 1 from Walmer Street, and I think item number 7, Austin Terrace is similar. We receive similar material, and also the support also similar addresses. So
through you, Madam Chair, for both item number 6 and 7, we do have the agent on the line and no registered speakers.
Okay, thank you. So we are ready for the agent. Please come up. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalia. I'm presenting 22A Austin Terrace and 22 Austin Terrace today. Mm-hmm. And my address is 90 Adelaide Street, Toronto.
Yes. So you do not have any opposition. I'm going to check with my panels whether they require a presentation from you. No?
Thank you.
They do not need a presentation, but they might have questions. Let's go straight into it. Yeah, Mr. Bayer has a question.
Yeah, good morning, Agent. I just wanted to, in general, I know exactly where this location is, and I understand the fact that the rear yard is as is, but I really do find it difficult to approve a 0% soft landscaping. Can you comment? In other words, sorry if I may, is there anything that you can do to mitigate that number?
Thank you very much for your question. So currently existing rear landscaping is 0, and we are maintaining it as 0 to provide parking at the rear, as well as we have 2 units on each side, we need to provide a garbage disposal area. And having said that, we believe that 0 landscaping, keeping it as is, will provide all necessary facilities for the residents.
Thank you for your response, but I always find that when there's some changes about to take place, you have an opportunity to improve, and that's what I was looking for, is to see if there's any way that in the process of trying to improve these residences, that the rear landscaping could be improved for the interests of the residents, actually. But thank you.
So thank you for this question. I would like to mention that there are similar precedents at 6, 8, 16 Austin Terrace, the same for 13 Castleview Avenue, and now also under committee review 317 Walmer Road. And we see those precedents being completed with the same type of renovation. And we did notice that 0 landscaping is more like a vernacular of that area, and we are keeping it that way.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions? So are we ready for discussion? Okay, we are going to move into committee discussion now. Okay, comments, please. Yeah, I sort of have the similar concern about the zero landscaping, but when I look at the site, it seems that they almost like do some, in a way, it is an improvement. I think, but then it's a very limited opportunity in this case if they want to have a deck and a parking. There's absolutely, yeah.
Okay, you know, one of the things I find, the response I heard from the agent was there are other homes.
Oh, that's not a
adjacent
good
properties.
reason. That's
And really, adjacent properties, they're not here
Yeah, yeah.
presenting an application.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the application, here's a variance that's requested. I think if you're coming before the committee with alterations, improvement, you're doing something to the property. This is an opportunity to improve it. We keep talking about the city's, one of the city's priorities is trying to improve soft landscaping and drainage.
Yes, that's why I find that the reason was not very good because other people that are not doing it, then we will be doing, not doing it. That's not a good reason because that's now how we improve the loss of soft landscaping in the city. Yeah.
Just in keeping with our conversation, I think that that particular variance is a variance that I cannot support.
Yes, I see. So
I think, from my view, it's true that the soft landscaping from a permeability and water management perspective is not being improved in any way by this, and that's unfortunate. But I do think the other sort of idea of soft landscaping of amenity for the residents, I do think the amenity for the residents is being improved by putting that rooftop patio, the carport top deck. So there are pros and cons.
One thing we can ask whether the carport floor is permeable.
It's underneath a,
Yeah.
excuse me, Madam Chair, it's underneath a raised platform, so it's
No way.
hard to see sun or, and it's also existing
Yeah,
parking spaces right now,
yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, it's, so I think in the balance, I can understand Ms. Byers' concern, which is my concern too, but in the balance of the thing, I think that because the one credit for this project is that there are two semis, and they are doing identical improvement, and I think that it will just minimize some impact on that in that way.
And I do think it's an attractive way of addressing it if you look at the
Yeah.
The elevation from the front, and it is adding 2 units, so that I
Yes.
think is an important consideration.
Well, we must put a note that the committee is trouble with the with zero soft landscaping proposal in general, right? Yeah. Okay. So do we have a motion, please? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely understand and appreciate
For both 6 and 7.
committee members.
Yeah, for both 6 and
members'
7.
concern, but nevertheless, for the reasons I've mentioned, I think it is supportable, and so I'll move to approve both 6 and 7.
And
Or do we need separate motions?
Through you, Madam Chair, because urban forestry is requesting different conditions, perhaps we should do separate motions.
Oh, number 6, got forestry 1 and 2. Yes.
So I'll move to approve number 6 with forestry conditions 1 and 2.
Yeah. All in favor?
We need someone to second that motion?
Oh, second, sorry. Mr. Gogan, second. And all in favor? 3-1. And Mr. Bayer dissent.
Yep.
Yeah. And with 1 and 2 forestry condition. So let's move to numbers, item number 7 then.
So I'll move that one to approve for the same reason, subject to forestry condition 3.
Second, please. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Gogan and Paul. All in favor? And Mr. Bayer dissent. Okay, thank you. Approve. Yeah. And now let's move to item numbers 8, please. I have to get it. Number 8 is 433 GLENLAKE Avenue. And the purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear two-story addition with second-story deck. And they're asking for 4 variances. On this item, we have received a copy of survey and site plan, floor plans, elevations, covering letter from the agent, presentation material from the agent. And also, we have email corresponding from transportation. We have corresponding in support from 421 GLENLAKE, and also 2 forms of letter, 2 support letters by 431 and 80 GLENLAKE and 82 Gothic Avenue.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Please, can we have Mr. O'Brien?
Ryan, I am the agent for the owner and occupant of 433 GLENLAKE.
Yes. You do not have opposition or any registered speakers here, so I'm going to check with my panel whether they require a presentation from you. No, they do not need a representation. We can move into questions. Any questions, please? Mr. Bayer has a question.
Just with regard to the sorry, I'm looking at the wrong application here. Second-story deck. On the north side, I think on the north side you may have privacy issues, overlook issues. So I'm just wondering if on the north side we could have privacy screening of the usual 1.5 meter height.
If you take a look at the so I provided with my presentation slides, there's a rendering of the rear yard. If you could bring that up, that might be helpful. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So there's the deck there, and the deck itself doesn't extend into the backyard of the neighbor to the degree that their own addition extends into the backyard. So that north side doesn't actually look into the building next door or to the backyard. We're happy to have a privacy screen if that's going to be a requirement, but it wouldn't actually accomplish anything in this specific instance.
I see, because basically it's sort of set back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking onto anything.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, any other questions? No, we don't have any more questions. We are ready to make a decision. Do you have anything else you want to address the panel first?
No, I've addressed everything in my cover letter, and assuming everyone's read that,
we have read it, yes.
That covers everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we are in committee now. Comment, Mr. Gogan.
I'd like to move this
Yes.
and approve it, for approval for the board. I think it's minor in nature. It's in keeping with the character of the neighborhood, and it seems to be sensitive to the adjacent homeowners, so I'd like to recommend we approve.
Okay, second? Mr. Bayat, second. Okay. Any condition? No condition. Okay. All in favor? Approve conditions. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So let's move to item number 8. No, number 9.
Sure.
Number 9 is the address is 169, 170, 171 and half Saw Street. The purpose for this application is to construct a new two-story auxiliary building. It is an extension of the existing CLAIR facility, and a new one-story auxiliary building, which is a storage shed in the rear yard of the existing three-story residential CLAIR facility. the 2 detached garages in the rear will be demolished. And they are seeking 7 variances. So on this file, we also receive a copy of survey plans and elevation cover letter from
You've reached Christina Pastor. Please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
So I got a cover letter from the agent and the previous decisions of the subject property or affecting the subject property, and arborist report, and an email corresponding from transportation and corresponding from 167 South Street, and also in opposition corresponding from 3031 Bloor Street West, and also from 173 South Street. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent here today in person.
Yes.
We do have one registered speaker in opposition, and it's the resident at 173 Shaw Street. We have made multiple attempts to connect, and we've been unable to connect with them.
Oh, so we still, let's have the agent come up, please. Oh, okay. We seem that we cannot connect with the opposition, so maybe you can give us a very brief presentation.
Thank you. Is the mic on or off? I'm not sure. The red light's on. Yes. Okay, thank you. I'm Peter Milchin, 192 Lakeshore Road West, Mississauga. I am the agent for the applicant. The applicant is the House of Compassion, a registered not-for-profit charity which has been operating a residential care facility at this location for 34 years. The facility operates as an independent living residence for 21 individuals. They have shared washroom, kitchen, and recreational spaces, but they each have a private room. What is being proposed is to demolish the 2 garages at the rear and to construct 2 ancillary structures, one which is in effect a laneway home, and the second one is a 1-story shed to house their waste bins and other things that they might have to store in the rear. I understand that we are before the committee today primarily because of the definitions contained within the zoning bylaw. However, what is before you, if it were deemed to be a laneway house, would be completely in compliance with the zoning bylaw. The additional shed would be completely in compliance with the zoning bylaw. So I submit to you, this does meet the 4 tests. It does meet the intent of the official plan, the intent of the zoning bylaw. The variances are minor or technical in nature. And if this does not represent the highest and best use of land in the city of Toronto during this housing crisis, then honestly, I do not know what. This will provide permanent, supportive, deeply affordable housing to an additional 5 individuals.
Thank you. Any question to the applicant, please? Yes. Okay, Mr. Byett.
Quick one. I think the only serious opposition that we've seen is from the neighbor at 173, I think it is. In response to the neighbor's concerns, how would you respond to the concerns he has?
So the House of Compassion itself has been canvassing their neighbors, telling them what their plans are. I am advised that the neighbors at 173 are relatively recent residents there. They purchased about a year ago. Their letter indicates that there's some misunderstanding as to what the proposal is. They're saying that there will be 10 additional residents. No, there will only be 5 additional residents. There are 5 bedrooms. They have a line in their letter that they're stating there will be a reduction of 1,100 square meters of outdoor space. I don't know whether they think it's 11 meters or what it is. The entire site is only 550 square meters, so that there's some misconception there. I understand their concern is smoking, fair enough, but the neighbors on the other side perhaps smoke tobacco or other substances. The neighbors to the south, they recently constructed a laneway suite of their own, and they're in support of this application. The House of Compassion has operated there for 34 years with very few problems. There are staff on site 24 hours a day, and it is as gentle and innocuous a neighbor as you can imagine. It is a home for 21 people who live there basically permanently. The average tenure there is about 17 years, and most residents are middle-aged or older.
I do have a question. Because of the neighborhood sort of misunderstanding or concern, the number of units, and also my reason for asking you if the committee want to put a condition saying that it will tie to what you have proposed, which is 5 room for the laneway. Will that be a problem for you? Because but the reason is that it's not a very typical laneway suite that we have experienced, and but I do not disagree with the of the development, but just to make sure that we will tie to the plan or the maximum or limit the maximum of room or bedrooms in the laneway suite to 5. Will that be agreeable to you?
I haven't spoken to the client about that. I imagine it is, because they have already spent quite a bit of time coming up with this proposal. And they don't want to make smaller rooms than what they've already proposed. And they don't want to build a laneway structure that's larger than what the bylaw would permit. So that condition would be acceptable.
Okay, thank you. That's my only concern, because it's the balance of the neighborhood, and then some already jump into there will be 10 more, right? So, okay. Any comments? Any more questions first? We don't have any more questions. We are in committee now, so any comments?
I'll just make a comment. I understand why someone next door to this application might be concerned, and anyone is concerned when there's more neighbors. But I did find it an interesting or telling statistic that the average tenancy apparently of individuals in the supportive facility is 17 years. And then this is someone who's only been in the neighborhood for a single year and moved in knowing that the facility was there.
Yes.
It just, it seems like,
it's existing
the existing condition and the existing tenancies haven't been problems, or if they were problems, then I question why you would have moved there a year ago. I also think if this laneway house was supportable on the laneway housing zoning bylaw and could house 10 people, that wouldn't be a problem to me, actually, because there is a housing crisis. So I suppose those are my comments. I'm happy to move or wait for other comments.
I think just to comment, I think when we're looking at it, these are 3 homes.
Yes, yes.
And this is the laneway suite at the back. Very substantial property now that you've got 3 homes. And I must commend the applicants for making sure that these structures are in compliance. So, and the minor variances that are requested are minor.
Yes.
But I think beyond that, the purpose for which these structures are being used, particularly the laneway suite, I think that is so commendable, because it's not just homeless people with affordability issues, but people who are vulnerable. And I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So I haven't asked you guys, because I asked the applicant about my conditions, only because I thought that the decision goes with the property although this owner has been using the property for this purpose for a very, very long time, but it can be sold to other things. So it might, if we limit to the maximum number of room, maybe it will be a better balance for the public. That's, yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, I'm only stating this as a suggestion.
Yes.
We typically don't tie approvals to floor plans.
No, that's the number of you.
So
What?
I would err on the side of caution on that one. You know, perhaps you could tie the application to the site plan and elevation plans.
Okay. What about?
There isn't a variance before you for number of bedrooms.
No.
And so I
All
just
right.
raised this because it could cause issues at the time of building permit. And it's, like I said, it's not something that we typically tie approvals to. Even through site plan control applications, we don't tie through floor plans. So it's just a consideration for the committee
But
members to consider when putting through a motion.
Yes, but I remember when we had cases that we can limit the number of dwellings. But my concern, maybe someone has different view. But my concern is that we won't not want to be seen by the public. It's a rooming house that we are.
Through you, Madam Chair, at any point in time, if a resident wants to make a call to 311, an MLS officer, Municipal Licensing Standards Officer, can visit the subject site and determine if there are violations at that time.
Okay, so maybe let's scrap my, I thought, very good suggestion. So, Mr. Gogan, it seems that you have.
I think that, first of all, I like the presentation provided by the applicant. Also, it shows the care that they take of the property.
Yes, yeah.
See, it's a well-cared-for property. It's not in disrepair, especially the rear yard is, the landscaping is, it just gives an attitude about quality and craft. And given the unique nature of the property, I would propose that we approve as submitted.
Okay.
And that's what my recommendation.
That's a motion, right?
My motion.
Yes.
Okay, I'll
Okay, second by Mr. Goss. And all approved with no conditions. Yeah. All in favor? No one?
Oh, sorry, I beg your
Yes, all in favor. Okay, thank you, it's approved. Yeah. Okay, now move to number 10. It is 406 St. Clair Avenue East. The purpose for this application is to build a new 2.5-story detached dwelling with a front covered porch and a front third-story roof deck, and also with an integral garage and a rear first-story deck. And the existing 2-story detached dwelling will be demolished. They seeking 7 variance relief. And on this file, we have received a copy of survey, site plan, floor plans and elevation, and a red line public notice, and cover letter from the agent, and arborist report from the agent, from the applicant, and forestry staff report and support, and 2 signatures in petition from 341 and 646 St. Clair. And oppositions, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oppositions from St. Clair Avenue East, and 12 signatures in opposition from also St. Clair Avenue East.
Through you, Madam Chair, just point of correction, one of the signatures for support is at 464 St. Clair Avenue East.
Yes.
And for this item, we do have the agent here in person, as well as 1 speaker in opposition in person. We do have another registered resident at 436 St. Clair Avenue East, registered to speak online. However, we've made multiple attempts and have not been able to contact them. Okay. But at this time, we'll turn it over to the agent.
Yes, please.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and committee members, members of the public, staff. Thank you for having me this morning. David Eagleman, 900 The East Mall, Suite 300. I am a senior planner here on behalf of the owners. And through you, Madam Chair, before I get into my presentation, which I imagine the committee would like to hear, considering we have neighbors here, we did make revisions to the proposal. That is quite clear on the revised public notice in terms of what variances we have eliminated.
Yeah.
But if you would like, Madam Chair, I can go over the revisions briefly.
I think you should, yeah, so that we can make sure we can catch all of them, yes.
Okay. So through you, Madam Chair, we have eliminated variances number 1 and 2.
Yes.
And we have revised variance number 5 such that it is now the area of the front third-story platform is proposed at 10 square meters instead of 14.6.
Okay,
So those are the revisions we have made.
that's it? Okay.
Correct.
Yep, thank you, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And through you, Madam Chair, so before getting into the variances, I would like to note that we have consulted with planning staff regarding this application, and the revisions that we have made to the proposal were as a result of those discussions with planning staff. Planning staff are in support of the application, which is demonstrated by the fact that they have not provided any report on this application. I have also reviewed the memorandum from Urban Forestry, and I'm agreeable to the recommended condition, standard condition number 1 from Forestry. And as you, Madam Chair, and staff have mentioned, we have obtained signatures and support from some of the surrounding neighbors. And we have also consulted with some of the surrounding neighbors, and particularly some of the neighbors who are in opposition to this application today. Unfortunately, those consultations with the neighbors with the neighbors who are objecting did not result in an outcome where they would be satisfied. But, you know, contrary to the views of the neighbors, it is my opinion that this is a minor application and meets the 4 tests. And so I did provide a detailed justification letter. I would hope that the committee would have reviewed that, but I will briefly reiterate some of the justification that I did provide in that letter. And before I do that, before going into the variances, I do want to point out that some neighbors from the same address have submitted multiple letters, and also some neighbors from the same address have signed the petition multiple times. So I just want to make that clear. And further, on the petition letter, there is inaccurate information. Specifically, there's a note about the proposal being higher than what is permitted, but we are compliant with the maximum permitted height and maximum permitted main wall height. So there's no variances pertaining to the height. That's just one example of some information that was inaccurate on that petition. So regarding the length variance, the proposed length is 18.54 meters, and that includes a 1-story portion at the rear of the dwelling, which extends the entire width of the dwelling at the rear. If you exclude that rear 1-story portion, our length is at 16.76 meters, which is compliant with and less than the maximum permitted building length of 17 meters. And the entire dwelling, even with the 1-story portion at the rear, is also less than the maximum permitted depth of 19 meters. So the rear wall is in a location that's permitted as of right and could actually be pushed further into the rear yard. The third story is also only 14.17 meters, which is compliant with and 2.83 meters less than the maximum permitted length of 17 meters. And if I could please ask staff to pull up attachment A to my cover letter. And I'll continue just for the sake of time while that's being pulled up. But on attachment A, you will see that the immediately adjacent dwelling at 408 St. Clair has a very long building length as it currently exists. It extends quite far past the existing dwelling at 406 St. Clair and will actually be longer than the proposed new dwelling as well. So the new dwelling will not extend past the adjacent dwelling, the existing adjacent dwelling at 408 St. Clair Avenue East. And lastly, The proposed rear yard setback is 17.83 meters, which is 7.54 meters more than what is the minimum requirement for a rear yard setback. So quite a large rear yard setback here. Regarding the maximum FSI, there is fenestration along the front main wall to break up the massing. The third story is set back from both the front and rear main walls, and the second story is also set back from the rear main wall, considering we only have a one-story portion at the rear. I've also provided a number of similar FSI approvals as examples in my cover letter. The maximum third-story platform area is an increase of only 6 square meters. We also specifically placed it at the front of the dwelling to mitigate any potential privacy and overlook impacts, and it is set back from both side lot lines by more than 1 meter, so it would be difficult, if not impossible, or perhaps life-threatening to try and look over onto the neighbors from that third-story front platform. And regardless, it's overlooking the roof of one dwelling and the driveway of the other dwelling on the adjacent sides.
Your time is almost up. Can you make a summation?
Yeah, so just quickly, the front yard setback is existing and is being maintained. And the side yard setbacks on one side is an improvement and a reduction of only 18 centimeters on the other side. So for these reasons, I believe this application meets the 4 tests, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Perhaps we can hold our question to the applicant now, and then we hear the other speakers first. You just wait, right? Yeah, okay. Let's have the...
Through you, Madam Chair, you're holding questions until we hear from the opposition? Yes. Okay.
Sure.
Can you state your name and address, please, for the record?
I am Vera Mraz. I am the owner and I reside in the property which is adjacent, neighboring with the project we are discussing.
What number is that?
400 St. Clair Avenue.
Okay.
I just would like to have a correction. I understand there was one letter of support of yours.
No, can you give the presentation to us, please? Can you speak to us?
I just wanted to, the whole presentation is that the variances are not, we cannot consider them as a residence around us, minor. The builder, developer is asking to increase the general floor space by almost 50%. Just to give you the idea, the old house, the way it stands, so now the new building would be 3 times the size of the existing 406. To achieve this magnitude of floor space, the building is encroaching in the front higher than the existing buildings, and in the back, it's totally blocking my garden. My objection to it is shared with a number of residents in our area because the building is too big. It's not in character with the neighborhood. My house was built in 1912, and it's not harmonizing with the streetscape. The most concerning is the question that, quite frankly, I am going to be my whole garden, blocked by the masonry wall due to the massive structure in the back, and the front is encroaching forward. And that was the reason to petition being signed by the people from the neighborhood as an opposition to the So I feel that in view that the variances, I would say, we consider them not minor. The building is not in a character with Moore Park style of classical Moore Park, I really implore and urge the committee to somehow steer the developer towards the design. We would stay within the city bylaws and somehow show the respect of the people to the natural light and sunlight, and to maintain the classical streetscape of the Moore Park. I mean, it's huge what is being proposed. I would love to answer questions. I feel now more relaxed because it's my first time I'm addressing any big committee. I'm sorry, but I am okay now.
That's fine. Maybe I'm going to ask whether they have questions for you. Yes, Mr. Goss has a question. Yeah.
So things like the aesthetic look of the new building, that's not really before the Committee of Adjustment. It's only the actual variances. You mentioned you live next door, and so having masonry beside your garden, that's a concern for you. Is there any other concerns that you have that relate to the actual variances that are being requested in terms of the
size? The size is, and I mean, in terms of the front, it's something else with my house.
No, but what I'm asking is how it will actually impact you as a resident next door. What are those impacts on you?
I am blocked in a shady garden, staring on a blank wall. That's what it is, because that's exactly where the building is ending.
Just to clarify, are you at number 400?
I am 400, yes.
Thank you.
And believe me, I lived there for 34 years. I put lots of work in the greenery because I just feel that that's what's the charm of the Moore Park, that you have lots of established greenery, you are adding greenery. And in terms of the height, it's a different from the front. If we have houses which are from the beginning of the 20th century, mine is 1912, with a deeply sharp sloped roof, and there are just little attics. Then if I have a huge front high plus
Thank you.
roof.
Yes, thank you.
I mean,
Yes.
I take it one of the challenges well, currently your house and the proposed, the house that's being proposed to be demolished, the backs line up, but the house number 398 extends beyond your property currently?
Yes, but there is a lot of space. I mean, I am discussing privacy and light, but I'm even worried about some fresh air circulating in my garden. It's so huge.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, let's have
very much.
Let's have the applicant come up here again. Please comment on the issues raised by the previous speaker. Yeah.
Yes, through you, Madam Chair, thank you. And I'll just note that it is my understanding that the owners have advised me that, and just to be clear, my understanding is that the owners are not developers, not that it really matters regardless, but the owners intend to live at this house. So just want to make that clear. And the owners have advised me that they did discuss this proposal with the neighbor at 400 St. Clair Avenue East. Unfortunately, in my view, the neighbor at 400 St. Clair Avenue East is not really being reasonable in discussing this proposal and looking for, the concerns really don't relate to the variances. It really is not an overdevelopment of the site. The FSI number is consistent with a number of approvals in the area. I did provide a detailed cover letter. Again, there's a number of examples of similar or higher FSI approvals in the neighborhood. I have more if the committee would like to hear. And it is an existing non-compliant lot. So right now it's a 25-foot lot, 7.62 meters. And the minimum required frontage in the zone is 12 meters. So it's an existing non-compliant lot. It's relatively narrow, and it seems to be a relatively common condition in this neighborhood. So, you know, any reasonably sized dwelling on this lot is most likely going to trigger an FSI variance. And the fact that we're compliant with a number of other provisions related to the massing and built form on the lot demonstrates that we are in keeping with the existing character of the neighborhood. So for example, you know, all landscaping requirements, maximum height, maximum main wall height, all setbacks save and except for the side yards and front yard. And in the case of the front yard, again, that's an existing condition. The proposed new dwelling is maintaining the same front wall location as the existing house. So in terms of the neighbor at 400 St. Clair's concern about this encroaching into the front yard, it will be no change to what currently exists today. And in terms of the side yard, we're actually improving the side yard on the west side, which is the side that abuts the neighbor at 400 St. Clair. So we're improving a condition that currently exists. We're providing more space on that west side yard. And on the east side yard, again, we're reducing that by only 18 centimeters, but the minimum required side yard setbacks for this lot would result in a total of 31.5% of the lot being provided for side yards. Whereas if this was a 12-meter lot, providing the minimum side yards would result in a 20% of the lot being provided for side yards. Whereas in this case, the side yards we're providing 19.7% of the lot frontage will be provided for side yards. So for all intents and purposes, we are meeting the intent of the bylaw with respect to the side yards. And just in specifically in regards to what the neighbor at 400 St. Clair mentioned, the almost 50% increase, I'm not sure where that number is coming from. We are proposing an FSI increase of 29%. The FSI numbers are a percentage, so I'm not sure where, and we're going from 0.6 to 0.89. That's a 29% increase, so I'm not sure where the almost 50% increase number comes from. And again, really, in terms of the length, I understand the neighbor's concern, but again, you look at 408 St. Clair, this is an existing condition in the neighborhood. There's many similar or longer dwellings on the street. And if we remove that one-story portion at the rear, then the length is as of right. And there is no, you know, while the neighbor can raise concerns about the length, that's permitted as of right. So those are my submissions. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, question from Mr. Bai. Yeah.
Just a technical one. What's the current length of the house, the existing house, I'm sorry? I think it's about 15 meters, I think. Mike?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
I don't have that exact number. Let me see if I can.
It's on the survey, maybe have.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, the print is rather small, so. But I recognize that the length, I think the dilemma that the neighbor has is that those two properties currently line up, and they are much smaller properties than all the ones to the east of the proposed site, which are much longer. So, yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Oh, we don't have any more questions. We are in committee now. Okay, let's have some comments or motion, please. Discussion, yeah.
Maybe I'll start off, Chair. I think with the
You stay. You stay. Yeah. Okay.
I think with the amendments that have been introduced, and I think this is a much more palatable application. I feel badly for the neighbor who just spoke to us. I understand the concerns. The difficulty that that neighbor has is that you're sitting next to a house, existing property that sort of lines up with your back. But as the applicant said, you know, the length of the house is very easily could be brought back into as of right if that first floor addition wasn't there. The positive thing is that that first floor addition is just first floor. It's not any higher, so it's set back. So I think that's part of the dilemma where you have change.
Yes.
And this is an example of that change is happening. And I think, as my colleague suggested, you know, we're not interested. We're not here to judge the design. It's not a design competition. Designs change over time as well. So I really don't see any issues with this particular application. The only question I did have was on the east side, there's a rear deck to this property that's going to be built, from what I can see. On the west side, it looks like the rear deck is elevated, so I'm just wondering if a privacy screen would be appropriate, and if that could be a condition. I think it's on the west side.
From the west side of the rear, second story balcony.
I think it's a first floor deck, but it's a raised deck.
It's a raised deck, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this one.
That's the only one that I would add. And there is a forestry condition. Outside of that, I think this application is quite palatable.
Okay. Any comment? Another comment?
I guess my only comment is I think it was a very good submission that the length, other than that first floor, would have been as of right, because I think the FSI is quite supportable and in keeping with the neighborhood. But I do see how the length of the building is an impact to the neighbor. But hearing that submission makes it more reasonable in my view.
Yes. Okay. Is there? I can add mine, but I think there is also the relationship of the property on the west side. At least the sun, they have a lot more sun during the afternoon or some. And also the fact that it's set back from both the front and the back. And I think that it is a sensitive proposal. So any motion from the, Mr. Bayet have a motion.
Sorry, that's my colleague. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move a motion to approve the amended application. The only condition that's attached would be attached is forestry 1.
Yes, anyone second that motion?
Through you, Madam Chair, sorry. And the rear deck privacy
Oh,
screen?
yes, the privacy screen.
On the west side, the rear deck would have a privacy screen of 1.5 meters.
Yes, rear deck. Any second, Mr. Gogan?
I'll second that.
Yes. Oh, yes.
With, kind of concur with what his agreement. Also, would like to just note that thanking the neighbor for coming in and speaking to the group.
Yes, yes.
Appreciate that. It's very important for us to hear. But again, we measure variation over what would be approved otherwise, and so we do consider this minor in comparison to what would have been as of right for the property.
Yes. Thank you. So you're still seconding it, right?
I am still seconding.
Yes, all in favor, please. Approve with the amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so we can move to item 11. Do we need a break? Anyone wants a break? We are fine. Okay, so let's have item number 11. Address is 74 SCOLLARD Street. The purpose for this application is let's hold one step. Is to alter the existing 2.5-story townhouse by constructing a rear second-story addition. The ground floor level will be used for retail purposes, and the second and the third level will be used for residential purposes. And they're asking for 4 variances. And on this file, we also receive a survey, site plan, floor plan, and elevation, 2 photographs of the property, and also email corresponding from Heritage Planning, and 3 letters of support on SCOLLARD Street. So
through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, let's have the agent, please. Mr. Young.
Good day.
Units? Yeah.
Yes, Eunice. Thank you.
Yes.
Good day, everyone.
Yes. Okay, can I check with my panel, because you do not have opposition? I want to see whether they require a presentation from you. Anyone require a presentation? No one wants the presentation, so we are going into questions. We may ask you questions. Any questions?
Sure.
Okay, it seems that they do not have question either. We are ready to take this in. Oh, that's one. Okay.
No, sorry, I do have.
Yes, Mr. Goss has one.
Hello?
Sorry, I was just thinking, phrasing my question in my mind. Was there any attempt to design some sort of ramp or ability to make the commercial use accessible?
We don't have access enough for a ramp between us and the sidewalk. There is not enough space. The sidewalk is too close to the property line.
Okay, even to do like a crossback or anything of that sort?
Anything of that nature. It's roughly about 5 steps to go up, so almost will be impossible. And then it's the adjacent 2 properties. It's a townhouse. So we'll be encroaching on both spaces the way their staircase is erected. So it's almost impossible. It's not almost, it is impossible.
Okay. And do you have an actual tenant for the business in mind, and do they have any sort of plan on how they will deal with people that are differently abled?
It's the homeowner is actually the operator of the business, so he's living there and operating the business. It's a tailor shop. I'm not sure if there is any plans, but I'm sure if any disability or requirement, I'm sure he's visit their property and then adjust he's a bespoke tailor. So in any case, it'll be a visit to their place and then get their suit done or pants done, etc.
Okay, thank you.
I have a similar question. If you get approved with not putting a ramp, I know that barrier-free accessibility is part of the building code requirement. Will you be blocked, or will you still be exempted from compliant?
I think we should be exempt because I think we should be exempt because there is about 40 or 50 different businesses on that street. All of them have elevated steps and staircases. None of them is in compliance with any of the ramp. It's impossible to do. Either side of the street, we're very close to the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yep. So, any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay. We do not have any more questions now. We're in discussion. Let's have some comments. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. To start off on this, I think this is a reasonable application. The dilemma of not being able to provide an accessible ramp, I think, is quite evident in this particular area, and I suppose there are a few others like it. The variances before us are all minor, and I think this is not an application that is problematic in any way. There are no conditions attached either from city authorities, so I'd like to move, if my colleagues don't have any comment, I'd like to move approval with no conditions.
Yes. Anyone second to that motion? Mr. Gogan, second. All in favor? Mr. Goss dissent. Yeah. Approved with 3-1. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Now we move to number 12. Address is 583 Logan Street, Avenue, sorry. And the purpose for this application is to legalize and maintain the rear ground floor deck, which is constructed without building permit. They asking for one variance. And what we have received on this file is a copy of a survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, three site plan, and also 4 photographs, and the order to comply issued by City of Toronto, and staff report from MetroLink.
Through you, Madam Chair. So for this item, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers.
Okay, thank you. Can we have the agent, Ms. Wordsworth, please?
Hello, my name is Caitlin Wordsworth. Good morning. I am the agent for the property 583 Logan. I reside at 90 Wright Avenue in Toronto.
Okay. Since you do not have any opposition, I'm going to check with my panel members whether they require a presentation from you.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have read all the material submitted. Anyone wants to have? No, they do not require a presentation. So we are going to straight into questions. Any questions? Mr. Bayer has a question.
Thank you. Can you just explain how this happened? It's a fairly substantial deck that you've got, and it's above ground. Did somebody not think that they might need permission to do this, or?
Yes, so the deck in question, it was actually built more than 20 years ago. The homeowner at the time, whose permit for
Excuse me, can you speak to your mic or something? We have some difficulty hearing you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is this any better?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, apologies. So yes, the deck in question, which we are looking to legalize, it was actually built more than 20 years ago. The homeowner at the time, who is still the current homeowner, she enlisted a contractor and paid a fee to have the building permit obtained, and believed at that time that a building permit had been secured. The contractor in question did not actually go through the process of securing the building permit as enlisted. So some years later, the city approached the homeowner, and the homeowner is of the interest to legalize and maintain this deck that has been in place for more than 20 years now. I included some additional documents in my submission that I think were not originally attached, but speaking to the examiner, I believe that they are included in the late submission documents, even though they were submitted well in advance, but I think there was just a bit of confusion. And those documents have some photographs showing the lane that show the deck in question. So the property is a row house. It's a group of 10 row houses, brick row houses that are probably from 1910 or so. And there are rear decks on 8 of the 10 that are in the group together. And the decks that I show in these images are all of the same size as the deck that is in question here. So it's absolutely not an anomaly to have a deck of this size and position in this location.
Thank you.
We have another question. Mr. Goss, please go ahead.
I think this photograph is illuminating and helpful. I'm just wondering how the order to comply came to be. Maybe I missed it when you made that explanation, but I'm curious how this came to the attention of a bylaw inspector and an order to comply came to be.
We are actually not sure, and questions that I asked in order to answer that question myself weren't very informative in terms of the answers. All I know is that the order came to be, and that the homeowner is, of course, interested in having this deck be a legal entity.
And do you know, were there similar orders issued to any of the other neighbors with a similar condition?
I am not aware of whether or not the other decks have gone through a similar process or not.
Okay.
I suspect we may be getting more such applications from the neighbors. I was just looking at.
Is there a question?
Sorry, no, I was just a comment, if I may. When one looks at Google Maps from the laneway at the back, you're absolutely correct. There are a number of homes that have these elevated decks. It'll be interesting to see what happens next. Thank you.
So if we do not have any more questions, we are in committee now. We can, bring out your comments. Yeah.
I'd like to move a motion to approve this application, but also just to add the standard comment that for the record, et cetera, et cetera.
For the building without permit, that we do not condone that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking the et cetera, especially it's Paul's first time.
Yes, so through you, Madam Chair, we will state for the record in the minutes, stating that members do not condone construction without authorized building permits.
But this one is pretty strange because it's 21 years old, in order to comply. So I think that it's hard to chase the history. Okay, anyone second to the motion? Sure, Ms. Goss, second. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Okay, thank you very much. And we move to item 13. The address is 104 Massey Street. The purpose for this application is to alter existing 2.5-story townhouse dwelling by constructing a rear 2-story cantilever addition and also a rear 3rd-story addition. So they're asking for 3 variances. On this file, we also receive a plan, a survey, and site plan survey, 4 plans and elevations, and a revised parcels set of 4 plans, and a revised site plans, and 3 photographs of trees, and email corresponding from the agent, and comment corresponding from urban forestry and also community planning. And in support, we have received letters from 5 addresses on Massey Street, and also we also received 82 and 98 Massey Street. And
through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, can we have the agent come up, please? And agent Mr. Allen, is it? Yeah.
Yes, good morning.
Okay.
Nick Allen from 911 Davenport.
Okay. Can you, sorry, your address? We can't hear.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Nick Allen from 911 Davenport Road.
Okay, thank you. Since you have no opposition, I'm going to see whether we require a presentation from you. Anyone require presentation? Or we do not need one, and then we will go into questions. Any questions? Mr. Bayer has a question for you.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of questions. One is, I think it's variance number 1. You're requesting 25% rear soft landscaping, from 25, required 25. You're only going to be able to put in 11.75. Can you just speak to that variance? Is this the 11.75 an existing one, or is this post-construction?
Yeah, certainly. So the 11.75% was an existing condition, which we initially proposed no change to. Based on comments from community planning, we have revised the site plan to comply with the rear yard landscaping requirement in the backyard. So we are now, with the revised site plan, meeting that requirement.
So does this mean variance number 1 is being eliminated, deleted?
That is correct, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, thank you. So it's an amended application.
Yeah, that's good. Delete. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, please?
Thank you.
Okay, we do not have any more questions. We are ready to make a decision. Will you have other things you want to address to the panel?
Nothing else, no.
Okay, now we are in committee. Any comment?
I think this is a small and appropriate renovation to the home, and so I'll just move to approve it subject to forestry condition 2 and the planning condition that it's tied to the site plan.
And also amended, deleting.
Oh, and as amended.
Yeah. Okay, and second, Mr. Byett. Yeah. All in favor? Approve unanimously. Thank you. And so let's have number 14. The address is 289 Cedarvale Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story auxiliary building in the rear yard by converting it into a two-story garden suite. And they are looking for 2 variances. And on this file, we also receive copy of survey site plan and floor plan elevations, revised site plan and floor plans and elevations, and revised zoning waiver and revised zoning notice, and 2 photographs of the property and corresponding from the agent. And also we have email corresponding from transportation and also staff report from urban forestry. And opposition, we have 2 addresses from Cedarvale Avenue. So, any speak? Yeah.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online, and we do have 1 speaker in opposition that we're getting a hold of.
Okay, thank you. Can we have the agent, Mr. Perez? Yeah. Is he unmuted?
Eddie, you have been unmuted.
Hello? Mr. Perez? Yeah.
Hello, Eddie, can you hear us?
Oh. Let's give it another try, then we can maybe hold it down.
Through you, Madam Chair, maybe we should hold this one down and move to item number 15, and we'll try and get a hold of the agent.
Okay, let's move to item, yes. Yes, Mr. Goss has a conflict of interest, please.
So I'll ask, to turn off your video, and then you can leave the committee room.
Yes, so item 15, address is 451 St. Claren's Avenue. And the purpose for this application is to legalize and maintain the rear second-story addition, which was constructed without a building permit, and also alter the existing 3-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear third-story addition and a front second-story deck and a rear second-story cantilever deck with a staircase and a rear third-story deck. So they're seeking 2 variances. And on this file, we also receive survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevations, and 6 photographs of the property and 5 photographs of the tree, and covering letter from the agent and order to comply. And we have transportation report on these files. So we are ready.
Madam Chair, yep, we do have both agents here in person and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, welcome. Yeah, please state your name and address.
Thank you. My name's Stephen Mack, 102 Queensbury Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. My partner, Sarah Gannett, is not speaking because she would be coughing up a lung.
No, since you do not have any opposition, I'm going to check whether the panel require a presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah. And they might have questions. But now we go into questions. Any questions, please? Yeah.
I was going to ask, this is again an issue of legalization, something that was constructed without permission?
To be more clear, that's actually not the case. What had happened was that the rear wall had consisted of a sloped roof, and it was rotting. And he decided to our client decided to execute a repair. As opposed to carrying the roof in a sloped manner, he carried it as a vertical member and was issued a stop work order because he was actually adding, I don't know, I think about 12 square feet, I believe, if that was the case, because what happened was the sloped roof actually would have kept it under the, would have kept it within the provisions of the existing. So really, it was more a question of he was executing a repair. Most of the work that we're actually considering here under this application is really to execute much needed repairs on the home. And we are here at committee largely because his argument, which is not unreasonable, to say that, well, if I've got to go to committee for this much, I'm going to ask for something which is actually usable. But the initial intent of the whole thing really was, if you take a look at the existing building, it had come down, the roof had come down, and he built a vertical wall as opposed to it. So the vertical wall then gets defined as forming part of the gross floor area.
The other question I was going to ask was about the cantilever deck. It's a bit of an unusual one. I've not seen something like this before. I don't know who your neighbors are on either side of the property, but as far as I can tell, I don't think anybody's complained about the idea of having a cantilever deck that high up that would have tremendous overlook. I don't know if you can just reflect on that or comment on that.
Yeah, the deck off the second floor is high without a question. It's not really, it's which I understand what may be some concerns. I believe that there have been no complaints to it. It's and the neighbors are aware. It's a fairly dense neighborhood, and there is a considerable amount of need for outdoor space, and I think everybody kind of appreciates and respects outdoor space in a dense urban setting. So I don't think it is inconsistent. And I think that overview is something that ultimately would also be in the interests of our client to deal with. So we may use some planting or some plants or some screens.
Pardon me.
So this elevated deck is already constructed, and it's not part of the repair, right? It's just you decided to build a new deck, correct? What is the existing deck? What is the existing condition before you build this deck?
It was a roof of a second floor.
It's a roof?
Yeah, it was a roof.
It's roof, cantilever roof?
No, it's not cantilevered. It's not cantilevered.
No, I'm talking about the cantilever deck only. The one that with nothing.
Oh, the cantilever deck is new, yes.
It's always there?
No, it's new.
I'm so sorry. I thought that we sort of legalized the thing already, and then you told me that it's only because we repaired the roof. And the deck, where did that come in the decision?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question.
No, when you gave us the reason why we have to legalize what's there, you said that because you have to repair the roof.
Are you talking about the deck at the front of the house?
We are talking about the elevated deck with the staircase, that one. That one, is it existing or it's new?
No, it's new.
So that's my point. It's not a part of the repair that you said that you will have to do.
No, so in other words, what I'm saying is that the repairs that our client will execute would have required him coming to Committee of Adjustment for a very, very small addition at the rear in creating the vertical wall.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just sorry for me.
Yes.
Since neither deck, cantilevered nor the third story are currently constructed and they don't exist, would you be okay with a condition that I can't quite see which sides they are, whether it's the east or the west or north or south sides, that the sides be provided with privacy screening 1.5 meters?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all. Thank you.
Is it north-south side or?
Just, I always have to go back to the site plan to see.
Yeah.
I think it's the north and south, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe you can correct me.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
it north and south sides? Yeah. North and south sides.
Any more question? I do have one more question too. Okay, the question is that from transportation, there's a comment that they want, or condition they want to put on is the 0.83 meter conveyance at the rear. Right, do you know that?
No, I don't believe. Did we receive that? No, we did not receive that comment. What's it related to?
It's in the supplemental. Let me check. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at wrong.
Through you, Madam Chair, the transportation report is presented on the screen.
Yes. Yeah. It's in the supplemental material in our package.
And all materials are also posted on the Application Information Center.
I'm sorry, I did not have the benefit of this as I'm relatively new to the file. Can you, through you, Madam Chair, could I just get some clarification on the requirement and the purpose of the conveyance?
Pardon me?
Can I get some clarification on the purpose of the conveyance, please?
Oh, this is from Transportation Engineering Department. They are asking you as a condition that we're going to approve this application. They would like you to convey 0.83 meter from the rear of your property.
From the rear?
Yeah.
It's for laneway widening.
Oh, for laneway widening?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, I don't think that there's, yeah, I can certainly understand that. So the conveyance, I'm assuming, would be done at no cost to our client?
Mm-hmm. I just want to bring it up because...
Yeah, no, that's fine.
we will put it
I
as a
understand now what
condition.
it's for, and I thank you, through you, Madam Chair,
Yeah.
for clarifying the matter with the file, which I am...
So you will have no problem because you will have that dimension here. On the site plan, it seems that you have room to convey.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that's my questions, yeah, okay. Any other question? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we're ready to discuss, and we are in committee now. Any comment or motion, please?
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms.
Thank you,
Bayer.
Madam Chair. I'll take a stab at this one. I think they're reasonable application. I was a little puzzled by the cantilevered deck, which I haven't seen one like this before. So, but since there's there are no conditions attached to that particular piece from any city authorities, I think it'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to approve this application with the transportation condition.
Yes, yeah.
As well as the condition that the north and south sides of the cantilevered deck, plus the third floor deck.
Cantilever deck and the first floor deck, yeah.
The third floor deck be provided with privacy screening, opaque screening on both the north and south sides. I think that's it. And the other piece I'd like to just add is the for the record comment, please, because to indicate that we do not condone projects that have been undertaken without permission.
Okay, thank you. Anyone second? Yeah, Mr. Gogan second. All in favor? With conditions, yeah. 3, yeah, unanimously approved. Thank you, we approve.
Thank you very much.
And you understand the conditions, right?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to number 14, if we can connect with the applicant. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Deputy Secretary, we're going to go back to number 14, see if we find we can connect this time. Yeah. Number 14, 289 Cedarvale Avenue. I think I read the purpose, and we just couldn't connect with the agent last time. Let's try it again. Yeah.
Hi, Eddie. You've been unmuted. Hello, can you hear us, Eddie?
We tried, right? So, okay, let's move to number 16. We go back to number 14 later. Yeah. So number 16 is 896 COXWELL Avenue. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing one-story detached dwelling by constructing a complete second-story addition and a new rear ground floor deck and a rear basement walkout. Also, to construct the front porch and stair. They're looking for 3 variances. And on this file, we have received a copy of survey, site plan, floor plan, and elevation, 6 photographs of the property, and an arborist report, and also corresponding from 892 COXWELL Avenue.
For you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, we are ready for the agent, Mr. Marshall, please. Yeah.
Yes, it's a fairly standard application. We're basically looking to add a second floor over top of the existing house and garage. 2 of the variances, 1 and 2, become variances right because of the existing proximity to the property line. The third variance is number 2 is because of the existing setbacks. Number 3 is again because of the existing setbacks with the eave. And number 1, if you actually had a chance to look at the zoning review, the house itself is in compliance with the new citywide bylaw, which would be roughly 0.56 FSI versus the 61%. The reason why it pumps up is because of the existing garage is deficient in size.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's it. Any question to the speaker? Yeah. There are no other people. Speaker. Okay, we are ready to discuss this in committee. Do you have anything else you want to address the panel? Okay, we are in committee now. Okay.
I'll go for it, Chair. And this is, as the applicant just noted, fairly straightforward application. There are only 3 variances, and each of them are minor in nature. So I don't think this is a problematic application at all, and there are no other conditions attached. So my colleagues don't have any comment. I'd like to move a motion to approve.
Yes. Anyone second with that?
I'll second.
Oh, Mr. Gogan, second. All in favor? Approve unanimously. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. So are we going to try 14 again, or so we? Okay, let's give item 14 another try. Number 14 is Sinclair, I think. Cedarvale.
Good morning. Can you hear me now? Good afternoon.
Oh, okay. We got you. Yeah, we tried many times.
Yeah, I went on my phone now because I couldn't get it on the computer for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have. I think we have read through the purpose, and then you do have one. opposition. Can you give us a very brief presentation, please? Yeah.
Yeah, so I went online, I saw that the neighbor had a concern with the parking, so I revised the drawings. I put 2 parking spots, and I also sent it back to the zoning examiner, and he wrote me a new notice. So now we only have the 1 variance, which is an existing condition. The actual structure is that size. We're just proposing to put a garden suite in that unit. And it's going to just be a 1-bedroom garden suite. So it's pretty simple, straightforward, and it meets the 4 tests.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. All right. We hold our question to this speaker until there's an opposition. Yeah. There's one more speaker. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We'll get back to you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let's have the opposition now. Is Victoria Mr. Wilson? Oh.
Victoria?
Hello? Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Good morning, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Victoria Aziz, and I, with my partner, Miles Wilson, own and reside 295 CEDARVALE Ave, the lot directly north to that in the proposal. So we understand that the city has a housing crisis and garden suites play a big role in accommodating this, and we want to accommodate them. However, we just object to the proposal how it is currently drafted due to privacy concerns and also the errors in the plan drawings. So our primary concern is the impact this would have on our privacy, and that the proposal does nothing to consider and protect our privacy as it stands right now. The garage is already an extremely large structure. However, currently it's uninhabited as a garage, so privacy isn't an issue. If it were to become a suite, it would very much encroach on our privacy. The intent and purpose of the zoning bylaws and the official plan are to maintain privacy. So when this oversized building at 67 meters squared changes its function to an occupied residence, the size and use is no longer suitable as the proposal stands. And what's not being considered by this proposal is the unique location of our setback house. So as you can see, our house is very set back from the street. So the proposed garden suite would be located just 7 meters diagonally from the corner of our house. And its proposed windows would be only 0.46 meters from our property line, with direct lines of sight into our backyard and through our kitchen and bedroom windows. So if you don't mind showing the photos we attached in photo number 4, or page number 4. Oh, I think this is theirs. If you look in opposition number 2, I think is ours. Yeah. So if you look at the photos, it shows the very close lines of sight and proximity of the garage structure to our windows, and there's nothing to block it. And we're also seriously concerned about the additional foot traffic to the garden suite because of the lines of sight into our dining room, kitchen, and bedroom windows. So as you can see in those photos, they'd have to walk past there. Normally, a fence along the property line would ensure privacy in this situation. However, our mutually shared driveway prevents us from erecting one on our property. And this proposal is unable to ensure the privacy of neighbors, which is us, which is against kind of the purpose of the bylaws. So a privacy fence on their side would help to alleviate the above concerns. And when we got the notice in the mail and heard about this proposal, we did reach out to the owner to discuss our concerns. And we proposed a solution of a fence along the rear half of the shared driveway, situated on the south boundary of the right-of-way. So if you look at page 3, where we marked up their proposal, if you just scroll up, please. There, so in red, a privacy fence there on their property, we think would really ease a lot of our concerns and make us feel comfortable and allow them to build the suite. However, when we brought this up, they weren't in agreement with that solution at the time. And then we were just a bit confused and concerned about the plan drawings proposed by the applicant, as their plan identifies the soft landscaping in the backyard as existing soft landscaping. However, a lot of it, like 40% I'd say, is currently hard packed gravel. So, and there's like a storm drain in the middle of the backyard missing from the drawing. So together, these features don't constitute soft landscaping, so we were just concerned with the usage of existing, as it implies no work will be done to convert this area to soft landscaping. So really, if you just, despite our objection, you grant the application, we really just would like you to consider a request that, a privacy fence could be erected to block the lines of sight and ensure privacy, that the windows could be constructed of frosted glass, and that the error regarding the soft area being marked as existing could be corrected. And those are really just our concerns, and thank you for taking the time.
Okay, we have a question to the speaker, right? Yes. And Mr. Goss has a question for you. Please state, yeah.
I think your privacy concerns are well taken in terms of the use changes, so the considerations change. I also think you're on to the right solution about adding a fence. I'm wondering, but if I look at it, it's difficult to force a neighbor to put up a fence on their own property. I'm wondering if you've considered at all putting it on your property, maybe even mirroring sort of the line that you've drawn on this diagram. It could equally work on the other side of the right-of-way, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's just because of the right of way. Obviously, it's right against our property there. So I think there's only 0. How many meters? It's very close. So getting anything in and out would be very difficult. And then maintenance. So in terms of like being able to shovel back there and have space for a lawnmower to come out, it would limit us being able to bring things from our garage in the back out. That's why, whereas on their side, they have lots of space. So that was our main thinking in that. And also, it's just, we're not the ones trying to convert this. And so I just would hope that they'd kind of want to come to an agreement that would work and keep their neighbors happy. And that's why we reached out. We didn't hear from them about this proposal. We got the notice in the mail, and that's when we reached out to be like, hey, this could be a solution. But yeah, it's really the layout with the right of way, which makes it very difficult on our side because it's so close to our property.
We have another questions.
Sorry, just on the same vein, I take it that your suggestion of a privacy fence, you've had no response from the applicant?
Sorry, can you hear me? We just had one phone call with him, and he was not enthusiastic about it, and then we never heard again. So that's where it was left.
But they haven't said no, I take it.
They essentially said no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Please.
Maybe the agent can speak to that. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We have another question here.
This is a mutual drive. Do both of you or either of you use that drive for vehicles currently to go to the rear of the property?
Yes, we have a parking spot back there. We could maybe see it in one of the photos I attached. But yes, we do. So we can open up that gate, and there's a paved area, and also our property, you could park in front of that as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yeah. Okay. Can we go back to the agent, and can the agent give us some response to these concerns? Yeah. For the speaker. Yeah. Mr. Perez, can you come back and?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, as per the soft landscaping, we'll make sure that it's soft, and the inspector's going to inspect that it's going to be soft landscaping and not gravel as it is in some areas. Mm-hmm. Also, we could put a fence on the back portion of the right-of-way. If you put my site plan up, we can put it up to the right-of-way. That'll screen my client's windows looking onto the neighbors. So if you look at the back end of the right-of-way, up to the right-of-way, we can put a fence. That's about 7 feet, that area.
Mm-hmm.
That'll prevent our windows to look onto theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And also the doors on the other side of the garden suite, which doesn't impact them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And also, as per the picture you had up, where they said they parked the car, there's a shed right there, so the car is not being parked back there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So you're proposing some kind of privacy fence for the windows on the ground floor?
Yeah, the
Okay.
first 7 feet is approximately 7 feet of right of way. That's ends there. There's 7 feet that is not right of way.
Mm-hmm.
We can put a fence up in that area because we're not legally obliged to put it. We can't put it on top of the right of way. So we could put a fence where it says the bike spots. We could put a fence in that area up to the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
That'll create and eliminate the privacy. Will be there for both parties.
Oh, so there isn't a fence.
Okay. Yeah. No, you can ask questions. Because, yeah.
There isn't a fence there now. There's the neighbor has a small fence and a gate. Oh, but that lines up with your garage. You're proposing to go out 7 feet additional. I see.
Yeah, it's approximately, we're proposed to go up to exactly where the right of way ends, which we are allowed to go. We're not allowed to go any further on that line. So my client's okay to do that. I already spoke to him about that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you considered following? Sorry, have you
Pardon me?
considered following the line that the neighbors did draw, where it would go up to the right of way, then deke around the right of way?
Well, my client says, like it's a mutual drive. He's saying why they can't do it on their side. So I can't say yes on his behalf. But we agreed to do it up to the right of way.
Yeah.
So and if we have to go maybe another 5 feet on that, go the angle and another 5 feet, that'll stop the privacy. We can do that. But he doesn't want to go all the way back like that.
We have another question from Ms. Bayer. Yeah.
This is an unusual situation because of the position of number 295 relative to your property or the property you're working on. It's not a common situation, and I think it is an unusual one. So the neighbors at 295, I think, are very justified in their concerns about privacy. I think from this, I'm thinking out loud, very loud, that the idea of putting up a privacy fence that really does support your neighbor, maybe could be the difference perhaps between an application like this being approved or not approved. Certainly I speak for myself, because I think privacy is an issue. It's a serious concern. And if I may just throw in another one that I think on your revised site plan, I think you've now got 2 concrete parking pads at the rear of the house. I would also suggest that those parking pads be produced out of permeable materials and not solid concrete. So those are the 2 things, 2 comments I would make to you, and hopefully have some response to that.
Yeah, as per the perimeter pavers, we're okay with perimeter pavers.
Okay.
And for the privacy, we can do that 7 feet and then turn another 10. But my client, that'll ensure privacy 100% on the neighbor. My client shouldn't have to go all the way, because they might want to go in with some things in the future, and they don't want to have a fence going all the way that way. So we can turn the corner, so that'll be approximately 17 feet out from the garage, from the proposed gardens.
Just looking at the site plan that we have up on the screen at the moment, how far would that 17 feet bring the fence to?
It's like the corner of the...
That would bring it to the back of their house, but then we won't be able to look through where the windows are situated. So they'll have all the privacy they need from the gardens.
17 feet there?
Yeah.
But if you look at the angles, it does improve.
Okay.
So I think that's a good way compromise. The reason why I am a little bit hesitant that to adopt what the neighbors demand or request is that even when they draw the fence, they said 2.5 meter, which is above bylaw. Building permit or bylaw allowed. So 1.5 meter, and then you can still put some screening on top. That's how they. If you adopt anything like that, we do not know it cause more trouble then. So I do not. I think what they are suggesting, just to extend the fence to 17. Is that 17 feet? Yeah, from the wall. I think that's adequate. If that's not enough, they can work together again. Yeah.
I think the 1.5 meters is about privacy screens specifically. I think fences are actually 2 meters.
I don't think so. 2 meters, the solid part is 1.5. Okay. And then usually what they get added is to this screening.
I see, yeah.
So what it is, we're not discussing why. Otherwise, we'll get them into trouble if you have to put 2.5 there. So I would think that I would take the applicant's suggestion as good enough for me.
Are we in committee right now?
I think so. I think we are in committee.
I think we didn't say it, but I think we are.
Yeah, because we so automatically move into it.
So I'd like to add, so first of all, if you look at the existing condition, privacy doesn't exist today.
Yes.
The neighbors built or they bought a house or purchased a house that looks onto the neighbor's property, unencumbered. They could have barbecue, they could do anything they want. So I don't think there's not a loss of privacy here. The current condition is this.
Yes.
And I think that also I think rights of way or common drives are very tricky things because you want to preserve the right to get a vehicle to the backyard. But also what we're finding are people are building things in their backyard and they're not using that common drive in the future, but you have to preserve it for the future as well.
Yes.
So
I tend to agree with you for the privacy, the existing privacy. People can just walk to the backyard and still looking in those windows if they want to. But building a little additional 2 windows on the ground floor, unless you stand there and look at the other people's window all the time, then I don't think it's worse. I think it's the same.
Well, and I also think, privacy is a two-way street. These people are going to be stared at in their garden suite by the people in the neighboring house, and this is part of being in a city. You kind of
a lot of
find your
times
way
when you
to
see
co-live.
houses in this configuration, but on the common drive side, you don't have windows of that size facing the common. So this is an unusual situation as well.
I think the fencing proposal is a helpful one. It'll mitigate the issue. I am glad we haven't talked too much about the frosted windows because I don't think that's an appropriate condition to impose on the new residents of this home.
Yes. It's like they can put drapes if they really want to not see other people.
I'd make a motion to approve this with the addition of the owner's suggestion to add a 17-foot privacy fence from the proposed garden suite corner.
Yes.
Or
before you do that, we actually have a deleted variance number 2.
Oh, I thought, okay, yeah, I got the variance number 2.
Through you, Madam Chair, just a suggestion. As part of the condition, we may just want to say that the privacy fence is going to comply with the fence bylaw.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
That's great, yeah.
And I was also just going to say for greater certainty, maybe we should say that it's 17 feet to a distance of 17 feet perpendicular from the front wall, or we could say 7 feet from the corner and an additional 10 feet along the south side of the right-of-way, just to make it clear that the 17 feet isn't because there are different ways of interpreting 17 feet. If you look at this, if there's a jog, and so if you include the feet within that jog, that's a different length than if you say it's.
I agree, but then either way, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think that either way provide the same degree of privacy, I think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We're still on committee. This is the good fences makes good neighbors joke right here, right? So I think that ideally that neighbors can get together and figure out
Figure it
the
out,
best
and
solution.
we
But
just say 17.
in the absence of that, I think we say a 17-foot fence that complies with the current City of Toronto fence bylaw.
Okay, you've convinced me that that's good enough.
Yes, that's the motion. So, okay, we have a motion, yeah.
The additional piece, if I may, Paul, the parking pads that he's talking about, that they be produced with permeable materials, not concrete.
Yeah, well, the parking pad is actually to the existing garden suite. That's the parking pad proposed by the neighbor. So we're not talking about that.
No,
They
it's.
said to remove the variance, that if you look at the applicant, they actually.
So they propose new
I
parking.
don't have an updated drawing. So.
And then we just constructed with permeable material.
Perfect.
Okay, so,
Through you, Madam Chair, urban forestry condition,
yeah, that's
number 2.
yeah. Okay, so we got all the conditions, 3, right? Okay.
And I'll second that.
And Mr. Goss, second, all in favor with conditions and amended agenda? Yeah. All in favor, all approve unanimously. Yeah. Okay, so now we can go back. We've done this one. We have 17. Item 17. Let me move. Is 104 Manor Road East. The purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing a rear two-story addition and a complete third-floor addition, a front covered porch, and a rear ground floor deck, and also the front and the rear third-story terraces. They are asking for 5 variances. And on this file, we receive a copy of the survey, site plan, floor plan, and elevations. 6 photographs of trees, and some the presentation material from the agent. We have staff report from Urban Forestry and support from 106 Manor Road East, and also a letter of interest or concern from 169 Hillsdale Avenue.
Through you, Madam Chair, we do have the agent online and no registered speakers for this item.
Okay, thank you. Can we have the agent, Mr. Arani? Please, yeah.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Oh, Ms. Arani, sorry.
No problem.
Yes.
My name is Sadio Arani from 685 Shepherd Avenue East.
Okay, just hold on one sec, because we do not have any opposition. I'm going to check with the panel members whether they require a presentation from you. Anyone wants a presentation? No, we do not need a presentation. We have read all the material you submitted, so we are ready to move this into committee discussion and make a decision on it. Do you have anything you want to address to the panel first before we do that?
Not unless the committee members have questions for me.
Yeah, they might. Yeah, Mr. Bayer has one question.
I may, a more comment than a question. I was just going to say thank you for including the decks on the 3rd floor within the roof line. No privacy issues there. So thank you.
Numbers.
Thank you.
6 and 17. We have a forestry condition. So any more questions? So we are ready, we move this in committee now, okay? Comments or motion?
If you're okay, Chair, I'll go with this one.
Yeah.
I think this is a reasonable application. And as I mentioned, I think the designers were considerate and forward-thinking in terms of privacy issues with the 3rd floor decks. The required or requested variances are minor in nature. quite an appropriate development, so I don't see any issue. There's one condition, it's forestry number 1. Other than that, there's nothing else. So I'd like to move approval.
Okay. Anyone second to that? Yeah, Mr. Gogan seconds. All in favor? Approved unanimously. Thank you. Let's move to item 18. Okay, and item 18 is 108 Crawford Street. The purpose for this application is to construct a 2-story auxiliary building. It's a detached garage with laneway suite in the rear yard, and also building a second story. The second story will be cantilever on the rear side of the auxiliary building, and the parking space will be accessed from Lodge Place, and the existing rear 1-story detached garage will be demolished. They're looking for 4 variances. And on this file, we have received materials, copy of survey, site plan, floor plans, and elevation, and 2 photographs of the property, and also email corresponding from engineering, transportation engineering.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have the agent online as well as the residents in interest at 106 Manor Road East.
Okay, thank you. So can we have the agent, Mr. Brenda, please? Yeah.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. Adam Brander, Brander Architects, and the agent and the architect for the proposal at 108 Crawford Street.
Yeah. You have one person with concern, so maybe you can give us a very brief presentation, please.
Certainly. As mentioned.
Is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished.
Sorry about that. I don't think that was on our end. Yes, this proposal is for a laneway suite, and as mentioned, we're seeking relief for 4 variances. If we could look at the site plan, I think that's helpful. The first is for side yard setback. So if we look at the site plan, it can be seen that the side yard setback proposed for the laneway suite, the south side at the bottom of this drawing, is consistent with that of the existing main house. Therefore, there's no new or limiting condition being proposed. For lane setbacks, if we look at the bottom corner of this drawing, there's a dimension there that's noted. It's the setback from the center line of the lane, just down a bit there. It's noted at 3.084 meters. We bring this up as the more functional measure for the lane relationships for vehicle maneuverability that is documented in the zoning bylaw. This minimum distance from the center line of the lane is to be 2.5 meters, which we're complying with. And accordingly, transportation has a submission on the file indicating they have no concerns with this application. The second variance is a rear yard setback. Certainly a minor one for a 4-inch eaves projection into the rear yard setback only. And for parking spaces, proposed is a reduced area parking space based on the limits of the lot. The parking space is for the private use of the property only. Again, on this item, transportation has no concerns. If there is further interest, we've actually cataloged a list of 38 standard types of vehicles that have lengths in the 3 to 4.4 meter range that can be suitable for this parking space. They're a bit more on the smaller side, perhaps catered only to life in the city. Kind of summarizes the variances. These are my initial submissions in support of the application to add 1 additional dwelling unit in the city. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we should hold our question to this speaker until we hear the opposition.
Through you, Madam Chair, we have tried to reach the residents at 106 Manor Road East that registered to speak in interest. We've tried multiple times and are not able to reach them.
Okay, so let's have the move to questions then. If we have, please, if you have any question, ask the applicant. No, we do not have any questions. We are ready to move this into discussion. Okay, yeah. Okay, Mr. Byers.
Thank you, Chair. I think this is what makes this one easier to approve from my point of view is that its location. Access to this particular laneway house through the road, I think it's called Logie, makes it a lot easier for accessibility into the laneway suite, and I think it's been well designed to fit that particular site. So I don't think there's any issue with this particular application, as I can see. The only conditions that have been applied are forestry, I believe forestry 1 and 2, and other than that, I'm sorry, I've got that wrong, 1, 2, and 3.
Is that, oh, I thought that's item 19. Is it number 18 have forestry condition?
There was that supplementary for.
In the supplementary?
So
Yeah, I think it's in the supplementary.
For item number 18, I don't see any urban
it says number
forestry.
19,
I
yeah.
think you're looking at item 19.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got that one wrong then.
Okay, we have a motion. That's a good thing. So anyone second to that motion, please?
Yeah, I'll gladly second that motion. It's a great neighborhood to add a laneway suite and appropriate.
Okay, all in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you very much. It's approved, yeah. Okay, now we got to item number 19. I do not know whether I can pronounce this street. It's number 8, PEVERIL Hill South. And the purpose for this application is to alter the existing two-story detached dwelling by constructing and expanding the existing rear one-story attached garage, and also construction one-story rear addition above the rear attached garage and a front cover porch with stair, and also as well as a rear ground floor deck with stairs. And they're seeking 3 variances. And on this file, we also receive copy of survey site plan, floor plan elevations, 10 photographs of trees, presentation material from the agent, and also staff report from Urban Forestry, and corresponding in support from number 12, and also support from 3, 7, 10 from PEVERIL Hill South.
Through you, Madam Chair, there was also, the support letters from, yes, that you stated.
Yes.
Okay, we do have the agent online, and I don't see any registered speakers for this item.
Okay, let's please have the agent. I think it's White Duck.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Committee. My name is Kay Rook. I am the planner for the owners of the property at 8 PEVERIL South.
Is that your address? I can't hear you.
No, my address is 18 Yonge Street, Toronto,
Okay,
Ontario.
18, yeah. Okay. Thank you. We do not have any other speakers here. I'm going to check with the panel whether they require presentation, because we have read all the material you submitted. Anyone wants a presentation? No. And we can move into question time. Any questions to this speaker? No question either. So we are ready to move this into committee. Do you have anything you want to address to the panel first before we do that?
No, Madam Chair, it's a pretty straightforward application. Variances are a result of the fact that their lots are irregular, and we have no issues with the standard conditions 1 to 3 of urban forestry either.
Okay, thank you. So now we are in committee. Please, a motion or comments, please. Yeah, Mr. Goss.
I'll move to approve it subject to forestry conditions 1, 2, and 3. It's very small and minor variances to do a small addition to add a family room, which seems appropriate.
Okay. Second to that motion, Mr. Bayer, second. All in favor with conditions? Yeah. Approve with conditions. Thank you. So number 20, I think is the last item in the morning period. Number
Through
20.
you, Madam Chair, no, I think we're done for the
We're done?
morning session.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm so efficient. I'm so impressed.
We're
by
used to
our-
always having 20, yes.
Oh, I see, yeah.
So we're going to break now that it is 12:52 p.m., and we will resume at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Okay,
you.
thank you very much. Yeah. Yes. Turn off our video.